Telemetry normal. Do not intervene. Telemetry normal. Do not intervene.
Target in the vicinity.
Find him. I'll monitor your vitals. Watch out for radiation spikes.
Copy. Moving out. N2. N2.
Green burns the skin. Yellow brings leukemia. Purple causes mutations. No! Since you have 1/3 of this color, stop scaring yourself!
Focus up.
Silent feet.
Your silence against the polygraph only proves your connection to the recent string of malfunctions.
If I told you the root cause of the malfunctions was Hudson's impatience, would you believe me? System errors, core boiling. These are the consequences of the main reactor overloading.
I suggest you abandon any thoughts of shutting down the reactor. We're on a strict timetable. Next question. The signal you transmitted. Who was the recipient? H42. You're the glitch I've been hunting. Playing the rear guard. That's not really our style. Your reflexes are slower than they used to be. Are emotions eating up your processing power?
You talk too much.
Signal to GTI just to escape.
You lied to us.
Sometimes lies are necessary to protect what matters. I have to initiate an emergency scrap. I won't let a nuclear meltdown destroy Asara. The path ahead goes through a high radiation zone. You have no obligation to risk your life. We part ways here. Thank you.
N2 to Vlinder.
H42. You blocked Skynet, but you cannot erase your past. I am your past. You will only be beaten down.
Abort mission. Withdraw immediately.
Copy that. Regroup with Nox. Extract. Take a hot shower. No, wait! The scram at this power output. The residual heat won't dissipate. It could lead to a core meltdown. So what do I do? Intervene! No!
Telemetry normal.
Stop the explosion.
Do not intervene.
Face the radiation.
Do not intervene.
Don't be an idiot. You can't do this. You couldn't do it back then.
Fall back now.
What about you? Can you handle him?
He's nothing but a past version of me. Past version of me.
Just fall back. Don't worry about him. He's tough. Enough to survive a nuclear blast.
N2, your vitals show you're in the radiation zone.
I'm a walking reactor at this point.
H-1000, 2 hostiles in the control room.
Ugly variables.
Don't press it! If you shut down the reactor, the uncontrolled power surge could cause it to blow. But if I manually pull the core while you press it and create an asphyxiating environment...
That mitigates risk. But how do we do that?
Forgot to introduce myself. Codename, N2.
It could explode. Don't try to play hero.
No, I'm just trash. Maybe today, trash can finally be put to use. I'm ready.
3, 2, 1.
Nothing much. Just fought some internal demons. Stopped a nuclear explosion while I was at it.
Nice work.
Telemetry normal. Do not intervene.
Nuclear power is poison, Nasir. You destroyed Asara's chance to be reborn. No. Nuclear power is the cure.
This court finds that the AI holds no legal responsibility.
But the data... This doesn't add up.
Just deal with the AI.
Priority. Protect company assets. Valve closed.
You destroyed our home!
That dream again.
Gabriel Mercier, codename N2, role, engineer. As a former nuclear facility engineer, N2 was removed from his position following a major incident that escalated into legal proceedings. He later returned to military service and was reassigned to Arctic deployment under CBR and related units. With the originally designated technical specialist unable to fulfill operational requirements, and following assessment review, N2 has been approved as a replacement operator for the subsequent operation.
Stun out. Throwing stun. Stun hit. Freeze right there. It's getting cold.
N2 is equipped with a modified grenade launcher, capable of firing up to 6 LN2 grenades. Upon impact, each round detonates and releases a burst of cryogenic gas, dealing area damage and significantly impairing enemy mobility. Sustained hits can fully immobilize targets through extreme low temperature exposure.
Cold. I can go colder.
I'll get you out of here.
Smoke hands over Asera. The situation's reaching a breaking point. Time to bring in the experts. Team Rainbow has touched down in Asera. New ground? Not sure where to start? Search containers. Grab high-value loot.
I hear when I can, and stop threats when I must.
Take down anyone in your way. Heavy fire, raise your shield, and hold the line. Don't forget your tactical gear. The gripple gun.
Enemy here!
Taking fire? Pull out the Hive-Tac pistol. Patch yourself up. Keep your squad in the fight.
Call if you need a hand.
Outnumbered? Drop the jammer.
말보다는 행동이지.
Go dark. Strike first.
I've seen real horror.
Looks like they were waiting for us. No pressure. Trust your aim. Learn the map. Stay with your squad. Team Rainbow brings tactics built for close calls in Delta Force. That means sharper plays, smarter fights, and operator-on-operator mind games. Alright, it's go time. Extract safely, and everything you learn comes with you. New operation, new look. During the event, Nox's Vigil Bundle, Geneva's Montaigne Bundle, and Stinger Stock Bundle. Pick any 2 of the 3 operator bundles for free. More collab rewards are waiting. Open an Alpha pack and try your luck. In Asera, the right weapon can turn the tide. Black Eyes, one of Rainbow Six Siege's most iconic weapon appearances, gets a new Delta Force take. Complete event missions and choose one of 2 Black Eyes collab bundles for free. Join the event to claim the MP5 submachine gun Black Eyes, plus more rewards. Wait, what's this? Team Rainbow left something behind in Asera? A collectible drone you can deploy. Deploy it and see what you can uncover. July 10th to July 23rd, play to earn the K437 assault rifle Domineering. Looks like we're fully loaded for this operation. That's the full rundown on the Delta Force Rainbow Six Siege collaboration. Remember the rules: sharp aim, map knowledge, teamwork. The mission: breach in, extract out.
Operations. It all comes down to 3 simple rules: search, fight, extract. Search decides how much loot you walk away with. Fight. Not every encounter needs to end in a shootout. You just need to clear whatever's standing between you and your treasure. Extract. That's the magic moment that turns everything in your pack into yours to keep. 3 phases, all connected. Miss one and the whole run falls apart. Gear up before you head out. The better you're geared, the harder you hit and the more you can carry. But the more you lose if you go down. Go in cheap and dying won't sting as much, but you'll miss out on those juicy, high-value supply zones. Gear up and go big, or go light and gamble. Your call. Once you're in the match, forget everything else. Loot, loot, and loot some more. Documents on desks, parts and cabinets, bird nests by the roadside, trash cans tucked in corners early on. Grab everything you can get your hands on. Priority targets, safes, and air cargo containers. Snag 1 high-value item, and boom! You've already covered your entry cost. Now, the real question: keep pushing your luck or cash out while you're ahead? Your pack's stuffed with goodies and you're ready to extract. Then gunfire erupts ahead. What now? Charge in, slip past unseen, or hang back and let them wear each other down before you swoop in? Just remember, die and you lose everything in your backpack except what's safely tucked away in your safe box. You choose to slip away quietly. Smart move! Your pockets are already bursting, but you can't shake that nagging sound of footsteps nearby. Even distant gunfire's enough to send your heart racing. You finally reach the extraction point. The countdown starts. Hold your nerve, don't blow it with 2 seconds left. Extracted. That weight you've been carrying the whole run finally lifts off your shoulders. Sweet relief. Then there's the ultimate wild card. You stumble on a mandel brick. This thing's worth a small fortune, but the second you pick it up, every player on the map knows exactly where you are. Everyone's coming for you. You go from treasure hunter to hunted in the blink of an eye. Your only goal now: stay alive long enough to decode it and cash in big. Whatever path you choose, it only counts if you make it out alive. That's operations for you. Every extraction is a story worth telling. Go make yours.
The enemy got the mandel bricks. Find and stop them. Mandel bricks decoded. Nice work, operator.
The time to strike is now. Do not let me down, operator.
Decoding has begun. Just defend the area.
Is about to take the first hit to bring up the tournament, and they're going to do it!
What goes around, comes around.
Not gonna do very much though. You get barrel stuff. Steiny is getting aggressive.
See what I did there? You ain't seen nothing yet.
Let's knock them off their feet.
That's so much different than there it is.
Well, good evening or good morning, depending on where you are in the world. Welcome into the Delta Force Rise series. It's our last day of the group stages. I cannot believe it. We are finally here. It is day 3 of week 4, and that means we just have 2 groups left. And I am so excited to get into the action. My name is Goj. I've got my man DK with me yet again. DK, how the heck you feeling?
Dude, I am super excited, super stoked, and I cannot wait to see what these teams are going to be bringing in today.
Yeah, this is the last chance for teams to put points onto our group stage leaderboard. This is the last chance to try to be a top 2 team or try not to be a bottom 2 team. There's so much on the line, and we've got teams vying for both of those positions in today's matchup. Holy cow, you're not going to miss it, folks. Let's quickly look back on what happened yesterday, which was also the last chance for some of our other teams to play.
MW really shifting the position of the engagement, the altercation going to a whole different level, but look at this though.
No way. FX is putting the pressure on. They're gonna wipe Leviathan.
There's something to come that more. Oh, Blake comes in. Marticuno steps up, but unfortunately coming so close to getting the full takedown.
Yeah, Articuno going really aggressive there. Look at Marino. He's going to try to pinch here from the backside and steal away a couple kills from Evil Geniuses, but he's got to go quick. Muo is picking up some kills inside. They call him Moo Moo, Mr. Cow, for a reason, my man. He is sending these people back to the fields. Holy cow, they are getting obliterated. WT Forever is gone, and so goes 2 members of FX. All of them gone. I'm about to cry. That was so beautiful. You elect to go low side, and they run into a fully ready FaZe. Now, FaZe catches a nice bullet to the face, and actually, Pildora's able to knock down a second as well. Funny enough, again, New Age FX, they're the only team playing aggressive. One pushes up. Articuno, again, he got the res, and he's able to trade one out. But they're still taking a ton of damage, and FX is not relenting. With Tomioso, he's gonna mantle though! A mistake! He's gotta be so frustrated about that mantle, and Articuno just chows! Kills as Leviathan loses 1. So I don't want to get too deep in the weeds, because there's a lot we could talk about. Let's get locked in with Socio Legend, who's finally able to find his kill. He's been waiting for this one for a while. I'm surprised he's not even shooting bodies, just to add extra insult to injury. Probably because Loco, from the top row, is gonna WWE slam him on the forehead, but nice. An answer back from Leviathan. Eclipse able to put it to a 1v1, but on the run, as Moo is still alive down on the low side, gonna zip up and hunt his prey.
Well, it is getting pretty close here. Eclipse now just waiting for Murmur. Oh!
Okay, that was some fun highlights to look back on. It was a fun day yesterday, a day that maybe didn't go to script for some of these teams. Evil Geniuses absolutely obliterate everybody. Now, FaZe Clan did get a mana brick, which assuredly put them into 2nd place, but look at the score. DK, this is the biggest score I have ever seen in this format.
Yeah, I mean, 55 points, that is saying a whole lot of something. Yeah, Evil Geniuses, there's a reason why they called that, because they knew exactly how to cook it up. But of course, speaking about cooking it up, it's going to be that final opportunity for Group A and Group D to have everything settled right here. I mean, Nightmare, one of the predicted teams to have a phenomenal run, they are going to be having quite a bit of a pressure in some way, shape, or form coming through onto their shoulders. But based on what they've been doing so far, they are more than capable of handling all that.
Yeah, no, it's a good shout, A and D today. So we take a look at our player rankings, though, throughout the course of a couple different graphics here. But top Slayers, Loco is leading the charge by a country mile. He's got 66. Socio Legend, also a part of the groups that are already done, and Articuno, of course, they're in 45-42. He is over 21 kills ahead of Socio Legend. Now, as we look to the rest of the players on this leaderboard, we see Killzall, for instance, who's fallen all the way to 9th. We see Equal Plays, who will be playing today, up at 40. Evil Genius's Muamua is there as well, and Crab from WK Forever. So the first person I see that can maybe even get to a top 3 is going to be Equal Plays, because Nightmare is competing today. And then, of course, when it comes to the top assets, same story. Loco at the top. This time, Killzall way up there as well, because Spacestation Gaming has had a ton of success, especially in the earlier weeks. They're going to be competing today. Potentially can maybe try to pass Loco here from an assets gains category, especially if Spacestation Gaming does well. Articuno finds his way to a top 3 position as well, and even FaZe seeing Mr. Diogod there in 4th overall is great. So again, Equal Plays 7th, could potentially jump up as well. So DK, it's fun that we get to kind of compare these 2 different groups, or I guess 4 different groups, because 2 of these groups haven't played the same amount of matches as the other groups that have already completed their matches. So guys like Killzall, guys like Equal Plays, they're gonna jump up. The biggest question in my mind is how much are they gonna move these leaderboards, and can they surpass somebody like a Loco?
Yeah, that's going to be the big question, and I'm expecting a big possibility for that to come through here today. But based on what we've seen yesterday, Evil Geniuses, they were just so prominent, right? Able to secure themselves in the top 5 in several of these boards that we are looking at right now, right? Here again, we see Loco, Articuno, and Mumu right there as well. But Killzall, he's still hanging on, right? As you said, they had a phenomenal play in those first initial few weeks. So I'm looking for that continuation. I want to see a little bit more of that SSG spice coming through here. But I'm not going to say no to a little bit of nightmare pressure being applied, because looking at where both these teams are situated, there is a big breakout that is going to be coming through from either of those 2 teams, right? 4th place, one of them can take that top spot. The other one, unfortunately, won't be able to.
Yeah, there's a lot to talk about here very quickly before we get started, because at the very top, like you mentioned, Evil Geniuses cannot be stopped. We already crowned them our champions of the group stages, which just means that they're going straight to the finals as the top seed. The team that gets 2nd overall on our group stages will also join them. Leviatan's already done, so Spacestation Gaming, who's playing today, is in a great spot. The biggest question is Nightmare. They're a team that can easily put up 7 points, for instance, if not 10, and definitely eclipse SSG if SSG has a bad day. That's the biggest if. A lot of these teams could technically pass them, or a couple of them at the very least, but SSG has to do bad for that to even be possible. If Space Station Gaming gets 2nd or 3rd, nobody can catch them. So they just need a mediocre day to assuredly put themselves into that 2nd place position. But DK, very quickly, let's talk about the bottom of the leaderboard and what is possible.
Yeah, I mean, MW, they're going to have to hope that Liquids and BTH do not have a strong day today. If they do, it's going to be a very tough day indeed for MW. So, yeah, it is going to be a lot of stress, because yesterday they did all they could, and sitting up to 10th place is the best they were able to secure so far. So it's going to be up to Liquids, BTH to see, can they better that? Can they do what they need to get themselves into that survival stage?
Yeah, this is it. It is literally just Liquids and BTH that are trying to battle their way to not be relegated and not make it to the next week. So a lot on the line, and some folks in the middle trying to jockey up and down the leaderboard as well for seeding purposes to potentially play twice next weekend rather than just once. Potentially have 2 chances to still make it to the finals rather than just that 2nd survivor stage that's happening on Saturday. So a lot to talk about here, but of course, let's take a quick look back on how the Delta Force Rise series has all worked up to this point and what you can expect for next week.
Delta Force. 1 game, 2 regions, 1 shot at glory. This is the complete guide to Delta Force Rise Series EMEA and Americas Season 1. Everything you need to know, from the very first match to the last squad standing. The path is the same in both regions. It starts with the open qualifiers, open to any team that wants to compete. The best push through to the group stage, where the top 2 advance directly to the finals, bottom 2 eliminated, and the rest battle through the survivor stage to earn their spot. From the open qualifiers, 12 teams have fought their way into the season, and only 1 will lift the trophy. The group stage runs for 4 weeks, with matches every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. The 12 teams are split into 4 groups, A, B, C, and D. 3 teams per group. Each broadcast day, 2 groups go head-to-head in a cross-group match. Every match is a 7-round format. 6 teams competing in the same lobby simultaneously, across up to 7 rounds on maps like Zero Dam, Brakkesh, Tide Prison, and Space City. Teams earn squad points by scoring eliminations and accumulating in-game total assets. And on brick rounds, they compete to collect and decode Mandel bricks, artifacts that decide the round winner. Decode 2 Mandel bricks in a match and the victory is locked in, no matter what round you're on. After 12 match days, the group stage standings are final. Places 1 to 2 go straight to the finals. Places 3 to 8 enter Survivor Stage Day 1. Places 9 to 10 drop into Survivor Stage Day 2. Places 11 to 12 are eliminated. The Survivor Stage is where the bracket narrows fast. Day 1 brings those 6 teams together for one 7-round match. The top 2 advance directly to the finals. Places 3 to 6 get one more shot. Day 2 mixes the 4 survivors from Day 1 with the 2 teams ranked 9th and 10th from the group stage. Again, 6 teams, one 7-round match. Top 2 go to the finals. Everyone else is out. 6 teams, 1 day, 1 lobby, 1 match. This is the finals, the ultimate showdown of the season. 2 teams earned it through the group stage. 2 more survived Day 1. The last 2 came through Day 2. Every team deserves to be there. The top 3 finishers earn an invitation to Season 2. Welcome to Delta Force Rise Series EMEA and Americas Season 1. Loot, shoot, extract.
There you go. That's the breakdown we were talking about. And of course, I'm going to run through these graphics quick for you because you know how today's going to work. It's the last chance for the group stages. Everybody's got a 1.5 million technical alloy to start things off. And if you die, you lose your gear just like pubs. We're on Season Echo. No N2, folks. You're going to see more snow for sure. You're looking to play for Mantle Bricks today. That's the first way we sort our leaderboard. You can get it on round 2, 4, and beyond. Rounds 1 and 3 are those eco rounds. So if a team is able to capture the Mantle Brick in 2 and 4, boom, we are done in 4. Otherwise, the max we will play is 7. It's really fun, and we hardly ever see that at 4 games. But hey, who knows? It could happen today. And finally, of course, you can only use operators a total of 2 times for your entire team through the first 6 games. That 7th game, we will reset all of them, so you could potentially run your favorite operators in that final 7th game. If you run double Nox on Tide Prison, folks, you can't run Nox again. Okay, you all get the idea. Now, the biggest thing here, safe box is very, very important because oftentimes players don't extract. And so you can use that safe box to prevent some of the loot you don't want to lose, or at the very least find some great reds and throw them straight into your safe boxes. You're still going to get some of that loot value. And the other big note is that every single elimination, every kill you get on the map is, yes, a kill point. We'll explain that in a second, but also it is 800k technic alloy straight to the bank. What this means, players don't necessarily prioritize extracting. They necessarily should prioritize getting kills. Go get your 800k per kill. That's a team wipe for 2.4 million, folks. It's a ton. You get some extra cash for decoding Mantle Bricks. Also, copying Mantle Bricks gives you some cash as well. I saw somebody asking about that in the chat. And there's also a fixed supply of 700k just to make sure you don't go totally broke if things are going totally wrong. If you do end up extracting multiple times or not extracting multiple times, you get a little extra cash as well. Now, Mantle Bricks are the most important piece, so we have the most rules around them. There's a lot going on here. The simplest way to put this is a Mantle Brick spawns on the map. If it is taken away from its spawn, it has 5 minutes to go to a decoding station, no matter how many times it exchanges hands or gets thrown onto the ground. You got 5 minutes. At the end of 5 minutes, it goes back to spawn. But if it goes into the decoding station, guess what? A 4-minute timer starts, and it can never leave that decoding station. Every time that Mantle Brick is stolen, the timer resets to max time, minus 30 seconds, and that stacks. The minimum time that timer can go to, though, is 90 seconds. So if the game clock is less than 90 seconds and the brick gets stolen, yeah, bad news. Nobody's getting the brick. And if a team is decoding that Mantle Brick, you can steal it at any time. It takes about 2.5 seconds of interaction, or just wipe them and that timer pauses, and then you can go steal it for free. We see a lot of both of those happen in these maps. Finally, though, DK, this is the most important piece of the puzzle right now. It is the point system of our group stages.
Yeah, I mean, that is going to be of the utmost importance here for the teams to get themselves situated and get into where they want to go. Of course, you're going to try and aim for that first place. It will award you 8 points, and any additional Mantle Bricks that you have will add 1 more point to your overall tally. So there's a great opportunity for teams to try and really hammer that away. The place that you don't really want to be, but somebody has to take it, is going to be 6th place, right? Somebody needs to get the bubbles. But you know what? Sometimes bubbles is good as well, right? Can have a little bit of fun with that out in the park. Yeah, not really a Delta Force thing, but you know what? It is what it is. So you want to try and bring as much aggression as you can into today, especially seeing that it's the final day of group stage and expecting the teams really to try and hammer that one in. And of course, the best way to make sure that you end in the place where you want to be to get the points for the overall standings is by raking in those squad points if you cannot get the double brick. So the best way to do that is to get aggressive. Each kill will award you 1 single point. And then of course, just to add a little bit of variety, a little bit of spice, for every 2 million in total stash assets that a team can earn on the map, they are then of course awarded 1 additional point on top of that. So if they get 1.9 mil, that doesn't mean anything, right? They don't have points just yet. It was so close, but not close enough, and it continues all the way. So every increment of 2 is where we'll be scoring points. And of course, this is what they're playing for come next week, right? For their position on the overall rankings. And this is going to be quite spicy, right? First place with a whopping 60k absolute Smash is trying to play for here. Yes, sir. We're going to see that MVP also walking away with 3k, as well as our dynamic kill bonus that these teams have just been driving in. I mean, one particular squad is sitting with nearly 150 kills on the board.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And if a single player like Loco has 60 kills, that's $3,000 that he has taken home already just from that dynamic kill bonus. So really cool stuff here with Delta Force. But of course, we got to talk teams. This is the most important part. We're going to talk about who's competing today. Take a look at it. It's A and D. It's your last day of the group stages. This is your last chance to earn those points and secure your spots either in the Survivor Stage Match 1 on Friday or the Survivor Stage Match 2 on Saturday. If you find yourself in 9th or 10th, or maybe you find yourself in 1st or 2nd and you go straight to the finals on Championship Sunday. Let's talk about the teams today, though, in the groups that are competing. This is a team that desperately needs to step up. Liquids. They've got a lot of character. They've got a lot of pizzazz. And they've got a lot of shining heroic moments, but not a lot of points. Things have not gone their way in terms of getting mantle bricks, and they've got some star power. It's just a matter of time for this team to play the objective and finally secure some mantle bricks. They have not secured a single mantle brick in the course of this competition. They find themselves in 11th. Opposite story here, though, DK. Nightmare, a team to watch to potentially play for top 2.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to try and hit that flow state yet again here today, and with with Equal and Farmer Lucas on the squad, what can go wrong? And to back them up, we do have DW here as well. Some pretty good amount of hours being brought in by them. And of course, we've got Ranger as their backup, just in case they would need a little bit of that. Moving on to the next team, though, is going to be the team that needs no introduction. It's going to be Spacestation Gaming, that has been hitting us with a few astronomical performances. Even looking at the hours coming through here from Killzone, absolutely insane stuff. I mean, too easy, taking that even further. But the big question here today is, can they lock all these players in and do what they need to do to ensure that they stay in second?
This is a star-studded group, and it's a group that has had a mixed amount of success. SSG started really hot and has slowed way down. Nightmare started slow and has really ramped up. And so Nightmare being in a position to be able to potentially knock out Spacestation Gaming from the top 2 right now is really wild to say. Nightmare's currently sitting in 4th with 28 points. Spacestation Gaming in 2nd with 33. But let's talk about BTH. Another team that desperately needs to step up. They're currently in last on our group stages. They've had moments of greatness. They've had some great team fights. They have over, look, how many kills do they have? They got nearly 40 kills. They've got solid squad points. Here's the problem. They don't have a mantle brick yet. They only have 2 points. And for them to potentially not get relegated and not make it to next week, they need to basically win. It needs a lot of points to make sure they jump over Liquids and MW. Let's swing over to Team Liquid, though, which is the exact opposite. Again, this is a team that has a ridiculous amount of kills, well over almost near 90 kills between a very experienced, even former retired and then come out of retirement, pros in other titles. They found their way to Delta Force, and they've really been hitting their stride, and they're at a solid 7th place right now, but they're at 25 points, and there's a couple other teams at 25 points, so the mid-pack of our group stages is very variable. We do turn our eyes to Team Nadeshot, though, and they're in a very interesting place on our group stage leaderboard as well, DK. They're in 9th place right now.
I mean, I think if there's one team that doesn't have to worry about anything today, it's probably Nadeshot, right? Because, yeah, sure, 9th place is not the craziest place to be, but it does mean that there is still an opportunity to fight a little bit, see if they can get straight into that first day of survival stage. If not, they're going straight into the second day of survival stage. So either which way, there is a way forward here for them. But of course, as we know, we are going to be cranking through our maps and operators. We are going to be starting it off with a lovely bit of that zero dam interaction. And this is where the teams now really get to utilize everything available to them, right? We are going to be seeing a little bit of a balanced approach here, right? We have a bit of assault, we have a bit of the engineers, and of course the recon being utilized as well. D-Wolf, Raptor, wrong when it comes to the map of zero dam.
Yeah, this is the classic operator comp, at the very least D-Wolf and Raptor, and then the third is kind of up to your imagination. Whatever you want to play, whatever you don't want to play later, whatever you want to use in the first map, whatever your playstyle is going to be in the first map, that's the key to success here. Sometimes you even see double D-Wolf because teams really do want to get aggressive and go for those kills. Now, while we're talking about operator comps and while we're talking about zero dam and looking at the players, I actually want to circle back around to the story of the group stages because this is the last chance we get to talk about this. And this point system is so unique. I got to remind everybody, when we took a look at that leaderboard, Team Nadeshot is actually at a very interesting position because of what DK said. They potentially may not be able to play on Friday next week if they find themselves in either 9th or 10th. They're currently in 9th. Here's the weird part about our leaderboard right now. MW's in 10th, so MW's currently making it to next week in 10th place, which means they play Saturday and get one chance to still try to make it to the finals. But MW's at 6 points. Team Nadeshot in 9th has 18 points. They won their first day of competition way back at the very beginning of the group stages to get 10 points with a double brick. 18 points puts them well within striking distance here. If they win today, for instance, they'd go to 28 points and could jump all the way up to 4th or 5th, depending on what Nightmare does today. So there's this very close gap of points in the mid-pack of our group stages that there's actually a pretty big burden of responsibility on Team Nadeshot to go out, ball out, earn some points to try to catch the teams in front of them. Here's the problem. The team in 8th, Fluxo, has 24 points. So you need Team Nadeshot, who's repping some nice fresh jerseys today. They need to pick up at minimum, if they win tiebreakers, which what I'm looking at, they don't, at minimum 6 points, likely 7 points to take down Fluxo if they want to play Friday. How do you get 7 points? You get second and you get a Mandelbrick. For Team Nadeshot to move the leaderboard, you've got to get a Mandelbrick today. I know there's a lot of words to just describe that the stakes are high for everyone. And ladies and gentlemen, because the stakes are high and we're going to have a ton of fun today, we have to reward you just for being here. Yet again, you all know the drill. You got to type in this code as fast as humanly possible to get the Nico Mimi spray. Get it right now on screen. Type it in as fast as you can. 35 redemptions. Redeem in-game or at the official website. If you missed this one, we've got another one coming up very soon as well. But you got to type it in faster than the other people watching the stream, okay? So it's a little bit of a race. 35 redemptions on this one, only 25 on the next one. So be ready. Get your typing fingers ready. All right, DK, let's get into zero dam. Take it away.
Yes, sir. Here we go. Our very first first round of the day, but also the last zero dam for group stage about to get underway. Let's see who's got those T1 spawns. It does seem to be Liquids and, of course, Team Liquid, right? A big opportunity for flow states to be hit. Somebody's going to get it, and the other one is going to have some bubbles going their way already. Liquids having a decent run at a bit of loot there, getting their hands on a little bit of something. Nightmare also going about it. And looking at the positions here, things are looking quite interesting, right? I mean, a decent spread across the board. We got the two teams there already pushing up in towards admin. Spacestation holding their position up in towards major. We do see Nadeshot all the way over in towards visitors. And of course, Nightmare up into cement. Now, with this being our first eco round of the day, it is going to be giving teams the opportunity to try and get some of that goop going, right? Get as much loot as possible to help strengthen their role throughout the remainder of the day. And let's see who will be able to find what.
I like that shout. The T1 spawns here, where you spawn, frankly, in our first eco round, truly should dictate your play style. At least to kick things off, Team Liquid and Liquids should be playing fairly aggressive. There's a lot of loot inside of admin, and there's a chance for an early engagement that is essentially isolated. You're not going to see a third party immediately in this engagement, but if you take way too long in that fight, up in admin, a team could move your direction, whether it's Space Station Gaming now on your screen, down in Substation, or maybe it's BTH up in Barracks. A quick look at the operators and loot gear and all that good stuff. As you all well know, you can only bring in blue ammo, purple armor in the first map, so everybody's going to be equaled out. But I'm looking at operators. DK, any big surprises for you? We see the classic Raptor double D-Wolf from Liquid, so I expect Liquid's up in admin to play aggressive. But anything else catching your eye?
Well, we do see a few Flinders out on the field. We do have Nightmare fighting with the bots in the background. That's always exciting. Outside of that, we do have Virons coming in. We do see a little bit of Nox being utilized. So a very wide spread of choices coming through from the operators here.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah. Space Station Gaming running Nox is interesting. Same with Nightmare running Nox as well. Now, to increase the stakes a little bit, as you do see Team Nadeshot has left Visitor Center pretty actually quickly, all things considered. Last couple times we've seen teams spawn in Visitor Center, they've actually looted up for a very long time and found actually solid gear. So Team Nadeshot electing to kind of get a little bit more active here, which I can respect. Best way to get loot, I say this every time we do these shows, the best way to get loot is to go eliminate your opponents. It's much faster than searching around for a coveted key card that has a very low % chance of being pulled, although not 0%. We've seen it in the Delta Force Rise series before, 5.6 million, I think it was. But all that in mind, go for the kills, get aggressive. Best way to get your economy up pretty early in this competition, and you don't lose an exorbitant amount of value in the gear that you leave behind. So get a little aggressive here. But yeah, I wonder if the teams running Nox are going to go for that. One more quick thing from a stake standpoint, also worth remembering. Nightmare's on a 2 streak right now. They're on back-to-back wins. They have a chance to pull a turkey here. They've got a chance for the hat trick. 3 in a row would be wild to wrap up the group stages. And the way they're playing, man, I think a lot of people are expecting them to do just that.
Yeah, I mean, they've got some pretty strong momentum already established. So I think it's going to be somewhat easier for them to keep that kind of progression just going. But it's all going to come down to, I think, how they handle this very first round of the day, right? If they played very tactfully, it shows that, they are cool, they are calm, they're collected. They have a slower or more steady pace in mind. So I'm really curious to see exactly how they're going to look to kind of get the ball rolling here. But in the meantime, we do see Space Station Gaming going up to that very first airdrop that is going to be coming in, and Team Nadeshot now getting set up around them. So there could be quite a bit of contention breaking out on this airdrop.
First airdrop, folks. Maybe just tuning in for the first time. Welcome. You are late, but hey, that's okay. We love to welcome in some folks late into the group stages. First airdrop does drop a high caliber weapon. 50 caliber M82. Could be the ARM. 338 Lapua ammo, both basically one shot, especially on the first map. One shot pretty much anywhere you shoot somebody, because they use red tier ammo. They are insanely powerful, and it does look like, yes, it is landing right next to Space Station Gaming, and Team Nadeshot were thinking about playing aggressive towards this, but maybe thinking better of it for some reason, not thinking they could get an engagement that's favorable for them. They're going to leave. Here's the problem. We're going to take a look at this loot, but Team Nadeshot is about to run square into Liquids, surprisingly enough, who has left admin. So it is going to be an but Meg is going to hit a couple arrows. One of the only, the only player that uses the compound bow in the competitive series. It's a couple shots.
We've seen Meg land quite a few more than a couple of hits so far with that compound bow. Curious to see if anything is going to come through with it yet. Again, you can see those health bars being pretty low. Slip now just keeping a little bit of distance. Doesn't want to get pushed on just yet. Chris also just on the side. But overall, Liquids, I mean, decent positioning. I like where they've got Puppy Corner as position as well, just up the road here. So the moment that Team Nadeshot steps forward and they kind of get distracted by the duo pushing up on them, it opens up the angles then for that push from Puppy to come on through. So a lot of excitement could be had just here. Meg also doing the scouting thing, and they know exactly where to go, how to apply that pressure, and we're just waiting for it all to come through.
Yeah, I mean, this is the interesting part, I would say, about this meta, is that Raptor is so meta in the current comp that you can get your eye in the sky, you kind of wait on that intel, and if there doesn't seem like an opportunity to go play for an engagement, you kind of just wait. And all the action will kick off either if one of these teams gets a knock from distance, or when our timer begins to get low and people start playing for the extraction. So a quick look at where all of our teams are on the map. I think this is going to give you the entire picture. Liquids came down here. They started an admin, didn't take the advantage of that T1 spawn, didn't take a big fight with Team Liquid. Instead, came down to where they heard some early shots, which was SSG and Team Nadeshot. And then they try to hold Team Nadeshot potentially as they're rotating out and kind of miss the mark. Hit a couple shots with the bow, now catching them in transition here with the drone, but can't do much else but try to chase them down maybe. On the backside, as Team Nadeshot go to the north to play for Elevator Extract or play for Team Liquid or play for Admin. We did see that Nightmare has moved into the south side of the map. SSG's down at Visitor Center, as they're going to play for some loot and slowly clear south to north. Very quiet start.
Yeah, you can see these teams are taking today very, very seriously, hence the change in pace, right? They want to make sure that everything is as controlled as it possibly can be. And I like the approach coming through from Nightmare, going for that paid extract, making sure that it is claimed quite early on, as they're just waiting for it to activate, and it's just a few seconds away. So they'll be getting their hands on it to make sure nobody else can sneak it away from them. Oh, let's see. They've put the money down. They are good to roll. It has been claimed. And this opens up the opportunity for Nightmare now to go out and get a lot more aggressive, because they have a little bit of a fallback. So I want to see what Nightmare's approach is going to be moving forward into this. In the meantime, BTH, they are prepping themselves to go for that second airdrop, as it is currently making its way down onto the ground. But unfortunately for them, Nightmare still hanging around in the vicinity. And SSG could also pose a bit of a threat. Still all the way back over towards Visitors. They are not looking all too aggressive just yet, but I can promise you there's most likely some sneaky tactic that they have in mind.
Yeah, patience is a virtue with Delta Force. It is an extraction-based game mode after all, but sometimes if you need to make some cash and you're trying to make it to the grand finals, virtue's going to have to go out the window. You got to get really aggressive here. This is much slower than I was expecting from some of these high-caliber teams. Some of these teams have ridiculous amount of kills. You know, I look at Spacestation Gaming, they're at nice 82 total eliminations through the course of the group stages. I look at Nightmare, they're up to nearly 80 now. Team Liquid's at almost 90. I mean, these are pretty aggressive teams that traditionally have gone for kills very early in the first map, but right now, everybody feeling like if they make a big move, they're going to get punished for it. And so for the first 10 minutes, we've seen a little bit of looting and frankly, not great luck, surprisingly. You usually see a lot more reds as well. And hardly any bullet shot. More arrows than bullets.
And the players have not heard any of those, right? Because fortunately for Meg, the compound bow is really, really efficient when trying to be a little bit more on the sneaky side. But this is going to be an easy point of access, though, for the side of Nightmare, as they've now just scouted out the airdrop. BTH, in the meantime, they've decided to go into the underground, push up in towards Admin. And this is where things could now really start to get quite interesting, because we've got Team Nadeshot here, we've got Team Liquid also making their way through. Team Nadeshot trying with a slow, steady push inwards. And there's got to be 3 teams now cramming into the position here. Boy, though, could be the one to help get the party underway. I like the showing of aggression here right on the front line, but is it going to be enough to start that cascade of gunfire?
Well, I know Team Liquid likes to shoot their guns, and there's some early shots that do connect on Crisp. He's going to back up and heal off. I assume they know Smile is close. There it is. It's going to get a triple ping on all 3 members of Team Nadeshot. So currently knowing that, well, we're not getting third-party yet, at least not at a close distance. So with a third backing up as well, I believe that's Slept that has moved out and around the corner. Team Liquid know that they need to pay attention to their flank and make sure that somebody doesn't creep up. Catclaw ult coming into big use for some nice intel.
Ooh. Good plays coming through there. While these 2 teams are currently squaring off against each other, we also do see Liquids moving up onto that northern side, going through the zip lines as they now start to get themselves into position. So we're not only having 3 teams here, we are going to have 4 squads getting ready for a little bit of a showdown. Meanwhile, SSG and Nightmare, 2 teams that know that one of them has to try and do a little bit of something here today to solidify that second place and, of course, the ticket straight into the finals. Both taking a rather more reserved approach, waiting for the rest of the lobby to kind of fight it out amongst each other. But Chris and Team Nadeshot just hugging the walls now as they're trying to stay out of harm's way, but there's so much utility getting thrown at them.
Well, finally, BTH is here to third party. Things took way too long, and from a distance, Liquids still just trying to connect for something, some value, some way to say that we were a part of the action. And the first blood, it finally comes through, and unfortunately, it is on Celep. A little bit separated. Lord Chacao finds his way to the first kill through the window, and the second. Team Nadeshot down to a solo. It's going to be Smile trying to win a potential 1v3, 1v6, or even more than that, as Nightmare are on the way to this fight as well. Spacestation Gaming, way far away, will pick up a disc. Find that in the second airdrop. Down goes Team Nadeshot. A little bit too slow, playing for inside. They get caught outside and get eliminated.
Well, that's our first team completely wiped out. Nightmare now also on the approach. Spacestation Gaming, the only team to come join in the chaos here. Liquid's also still keeping quite a bit of a distant position, but this opens up things in admin. As you can see, BTH pushing a little bit further up on towards that northern side, trying to get themselves into the damn wall as they are going to be looking to pull the lever. Elevator has been started up, and now this is where things could get a little bit spicy. We've got pretty much the entire lobby, bar Team Nadeshot, now having the opportunity and the position to go contest the elevator.
Yeah, just in time as well. About 40 seconds or so on the game clock once this elevator extract is complete, and we'll see how many people decide to try to hop on it. So far, Team Nadeshot, the first team, fully wiped. And everybody else now playing around admin. We essentially had 12 minutes of the DK Coach podcast that then turned into back to our esports action. And with the final 4 minutes, I think this is about to be unbelievably chaotic. Looks like BTH going to make the first move on the elevator extract. Liquid's already there.
Well, both these teams need the points, so I can understand the aggression coming through from either which side. Uppy Porno, though, with a nice little peek around the corner here as they can hear the footsteps. Ooh, the D-Wolf. Nades flying out. BTH, though, not going to be too deterred. They are going to try and apply the pressure. I like that off-angle position coming through from J-Device, and Meg just trying to wrap around them, trying to sneak in. If that compound bow is fully utilized as we've seen before, Meg is going to be in for an absolute party, but it is going to be push coming through now.
J-Device picking up one in transition is huge. BTH were in a big power position because Meg was playing the flank. They could have just full sent right down the middle and potentially won this, but J-Device gets one, and down goes one, yes, member of BTH, but down goes 2 members of Liquid's Ka. Lord Jackal win that engagement, and it's just Meg on the outside, bow in hand, gonna try to win a 1v2, and already letting him know that I'm on my way, good luck. I know sometimes we meme about the bow. This is one of the few instances where I think this was a mistake. I think a gun in hand and playing with your team already in a power position on the extraction would have been better fit for the first zero damn map. Off screen, you can see it bottom right. Skies from Spacestation Gaming has picked up equal plays from Nightmare. So their main Slayer cut down. Nightmare certainly hamstrung in this engagement. As Team Liquid, Nightmare, and SSG are about to be in a fight, it looks like our dear friend Megalus is going to back off from the extraction point. Here's the big fight, though. Killzall finds at least Farmer Lucas. DW as well. Nightmare fully wiped.
Yep. Teams continuing now to drop on down. 2 already swept away. But not much really happening with Liquids currently up in the elevator. Meanwhile, it's going to be Mendo locking in on Skies. Finds the hit, and down he goes. SSG now being put on quite a bit of a back foot as their second player is going to be dropped on down. It's all now relying on the shoulders here of Killzall, who somehow is going to be stepping up with the AWM and loses it instantly.
Team Liquid just full send. I like the play from a team, again, that usually plays pretty aggressive. Team Liquid, Mindo, Hodzic, Boy, they full send into the third party. You got to remember, Spacestation Gaming was weak in their engagement that they took just a moment ago with Nightmare. Nightmare cut down. Team Liquid swing in, strike while the iron's hot. All three bodies back up on their feet. And a full team wipe, Spacestation Gaming down. They don't have time probably to grab the and try to get out with it. So Team Liquid are just going to sprint over to a potential fight as BTH still battling over this damage extractor. They're going to keep Caw on the map to go play for Megalith. Megalith gone. Caw with a nice kill there. An extra point to the tally for BTH. Unfortunately, Boy's going to strike right back. They left him on the map to die. Team Liquid going to find a fourth.
Yeah, I mean, really good play coming through here from Team Liquid. They are just picking up points. We do see BTH, though, managing to sneak one player out. Unfortunately, they are just falling shy of points. Walking out of this round with 1.8 mil. Getting so close, but not close enough. Quick look back at what happened, how it all unfolded. As we did see SSG. Wow. Just reaching into the side there of Nightmare. Absolutely problematic for them. A little bit of relief coming through from the side of Killzone, but as we know, it was short-lived. Boy, though, just laying into the side and causing absolute chaos. But now's the opportunity for the side here of Team Liquid to see, can they find a little bit more value, as we have just 5 seconds left on the clock, and this is pretty much over.
Yeah, pretty much over. You can't store that ammo anywhere. That is going to stay on the map. So nobody going to have a high caliber weapon going into our first Mantle Brick round. And our first eco round was, frankly, quite slow until the final 5 minutes. And once we got to the final 5 minutes, all the teams were trying to figure out, how do we take fights without getting third-partied? And the answer is, you don't. It was a third-party battle all the way down to the finish line. Team Liquid certainly the biggest winners from that one, though, TK.
Yeah, I mean, walking away with value, that is definitely something that helps set you up coming into the later stages of the day. But overall, I mean, a very, very passive approach to the action here. I think it's a little bit of nerves coming through as well. But at the end of the day, it is going to be BTH, our top team, as they were able to get at least that one player out of this match. 1.8 mil in value. Also bagging up those 5 kills and 1100 damage. So a very good start for BTH. But is this them setting the kind of pacing for themselves here today? Or could we see even more of that continue to come?
Yeah, it's actually a really good shot at BTH. They did pick up 5 kills. They're actually the team that got the wipe on Team Nadeshot, which is the reason why they picked up those 5. I kind of forgot about it because it's so much earlier than the last engagement that we saw from them. So a nice pickup there. And then, of course, Megalith going down as well means BTH are our biggest winners technically, just barely more than Team Liquid. So nice work there. You can see our stats-wise, Lord Jackal picked up a solid amount of damage. Most of that was on Team Nadeshot. Through the window, they weren't expecting the third party. And then here, BTH Toots does pick up the #1 assist position there. And then 1.2 mil because at least Lord Jackal did get out of the map. So great job from him.
Yeah, good job indeed. Money is going to help build up a little bit of something here. And also, Lord Jackal is going to be our MVP for the very first round. 3 kills in the bag, 1 assist, a nice bit of bank, and a chunk of damage as well.
Yeah, honestly played fantastic. And again, just caught Team Nadeshot in a bad spot. That admin third party was tough because Team Nadeshot was on the outside, not the inside. So there's a lot of windows in admin, and you all know how that works. So Team Nadeshot go down early, and BTH stand tall in the first map. But we have plenty of more maps to play. And yes, eco is important, but kills and, of course, mantle bricks, which we'll be seeing in just a moment, will be the big ticket item. Before we go to a break, though, I do need to remind you of one very important thing. This is the last day of group stages. Season 1 coming to an end, but Season 2 right around the corner. If you want to play against some of these pros, potentially replace some of these pros, you can do that in open qualifiers. Registration opens August 10th. You can see it right down below. If you want to continue to learn more and keep up to date on all things Delta Force and all things the Delta Force Rise series, make sure you drop a follow on all major socials so you stay up to date on the news. But open registration opens August 10th. That's in a week, which is insane to say. Only a week away, open registration will start essentially when we're doing finals. Really, really cool. So pay attention. Make sure you're following socials. We're going to head to a very short break. When we come back, a Mantle Brick round. It's going to be Brakkesh, and it's going to be a ton of fun.
Two members, now the odds are in their favor, 2v1. Everything getting spammed away, and MT getting a little solo absolute sweat. This.
And LG's gotta know that they're here. Lines them up, even through the shot. You're nuts. For the last remaining 3 BOV, they find 2 instant knocks. The Elm's gonna be hopping off that.
Got the mantle bricks. Find, stop them. Mantle bricks decoded. Nice work, operator.
The time to strike is now. Do not let me down, operator.
Decoding has begun. Defend the area.
Is about to take the first brick of the tournament. And they're going to do it.
What goes around, comes around.
Oh, I'm not gonna do very much though. You get barrel stuff. Skydie is getting aggressive.
See what I did there? You ain't seen nothing yet.
Let's knock them off their feet.
There we go. So much damage, and there it is.
Welcome back. Delta Force Rise series just wrapped up our Zero Dam map here with America's final day of group stages, day 3 of week 4. And we've got 2 groups left that have their final match, and they look a bit nervous to me, Mr. DK. And I think the way that Zero Dam played, it felt a bit nervous. It was quite slow until the final moments, but BTH find themselves at the top of the leaderboard with Team Liquid right behind.
Yeah, I mean, it is quite an interesting turn of events that we've seen so far. But you know what? One thing that I've been sitting here thinking about, looking at what we saw in this first round, right? Just kind of how the teams approached it. I think if one of these squads decides today that, you know what, we're gonna unlock an unnecessary amount of aggression, they could be the team to sit at the top come end of day. Right, I just have that feeling, right?
Yeah.
That's what I'm kind of sussing out here, and I think, like, because based on what we saw today, the teams were playing it a little bit more reserved, right? Not trying to do too much just yet. And I think this is exactly kind of the day where you have to push it a little bit harder because everybody else has that mindset. So I'm excited to see what's going to come through as we head into round number 2. Of course, we are going to be looking at a lot of that Uluru Raptor play coming through, a lot of incendiaries and rockets flying all over the place.
Yeah, no, I think it's a great shout. I think it's really important to play with confidence. Confidence can win gunfights. It's 100% the facts. If you play slow, you play a little bit scared, you're going to second guess some of your moves and you may be in trouble. Now, of course, let's take a look at our spawn predictions. If you all don't know, the only way spawns are dictated is you can't have a tier 1 spawn, which is in the red, in back-to-back rounds. So Brakkesh is a great time to potentially pull that tier 1 spawn because it gets you closest to the mantle brick, closest to the first decoding station near the mantle brick, and maybe one step closer to getting the brick. It also prevents you from getting a tier 1 spawn on our next economy round so that you can get it in the next brick round. You all know the drill. You hear me talk about it all the time. Folks, get your typing fingers ready. We want to reward you just for being here. I'm giving you a bit of heads up. There it is. Code on your screen. Redeem it in-game or at the official website. Go get your SR3 in combat ready skin right now. Only 25 total redemptions, so go redeem it as fast as humanly possible. If it says invalid, you are too slow. Got a couple more of these as we wrap up the group stages. Here's one more chance to earn some rewards by watching along here with the Delta Force Rise series. Here, folks, we love the chat. We love people hanging out with us, and it has been a blast thus far. Let's get into our first Mantle Brick round. DK, take it away.
Yes, sir. We got Nightmare and BTH kicking us off with the glorious T1 spawn. So that is a good call for them, meaning they can't get T1 on the next round. As we know, that is just the way it works. No back-to-backs, and I think they are going to be very, very happy about that. Not so much about the Flames. Got to watch out for those. That can get you cooked up quite early on. But speaking about which, though, I like the position coming through here from Nightmare. Just absolute aggression, and already out of the gate getting quite a bit of damage into the side here of BTH. So let's see who's going to make that mad dash as the Mantle Brick is going to come online in the next 10 seconds or so. And both these squads pretty decently set up for that.
Quick look at the operator pool. It does look like Liquids is going to burn a Saniva very early. This is kind of a Meg thing to do. Meg runs the bow, Meg runs the Saniva. Equal plays. Instead, is just going to run straight at the Mantle Brick and get it because BTH is one level below. So a nice grab from Equal Plays. We know exactly where he's going. I would say Mantle Bricks are decoded on Brakkesh 75% of the time, maybe a hair less at this decoding station right here in Museum. Fun part about this, it's a lot of CQB. Good news for people that run, well, frankly, Liquids, who's running a Saniva, I think could be very helpful inside of Museum. But it's great news for people running a loot route, which is why you see him on every single team. Incendiary, Rocket, and even the cover, all incredibly valuable, especially at that decoding station, because everything is so compacted and in that close quarters combat that I'm talking about. So good moment there. And of course, other operators worth mentioning. You do see Raptor on several of these teams just for that extra intel. Going to go ahead and burn your second Raptor. There's better recon operators for other maps. Raptor is still very valuable in a map like this.
Yep, it's all about having the value and actually utilizing it all the way, or rather as much as you possibly can. But speaking about which, though, right, I was talking about this yesterday, so I'll mention it here today as well. The last time we saw both these groups was all the way back in day number 5, 7 days ago, and that feels like ages ago. We did see on Brakkesh that Team Liquid was the one to come in and steal the Mantle Brick at the very last moment. So I'm curious to see if that is going to be a repeat here for today. But we also did all go the distance all the way up into our second space city. So we'll see how the pacing goes for the squads here. Nightmare also this time having that T1 spawn, same as the last time we saw both these groups playing. So if that is saying anything, there might be a bit of an opportunity available to them this time around.
A little bit of deja vu. Okay. Black Cat just walked across my screen. I don't know. Here we go. 2.5 minutes on the clock for the decoding station. Nightmare in complete control inside, but it's about to be chaos, or maybe it already is. A lot of util being spammed out. This is outside of the engagement. This is up at Market, mid-map, just to the north of Museum. Team Nadeshot and Team Liquid fighting is great news if you're a Nightmare fan, because they're not going to be fighting for the brick. They're going to be fighting against each other. If one of these two teams decides to try to leave the fight and go play for the objective, they're probably going to get shot in the back. So these two teams going to be stuck in this engagement for a little while. Team Nadeshot desperately needing some points and make sure that they can play Friday and Saturday next week, while Team Liquid has a chance to potentially play for a top spot, or second place rather, in the overall group standings. So still a lot to play for both teams. And of course, $50 straight to boys' hands with that one and every other kill they get on the map. Unfortunately, Team Nadeshot yet again in a position where they have player disadvantage. And unfortunately, Slep goes right to his friend's body to die. Ooh. And unfortunately, Team Nadeshot is going to go back to the lobby.
Yeah, I mean, that is a very devastating blow coming straight into the side there of Team Nadeshot, getting swept away so quickly. But of course, now this opens up even more opportunities, right? This is like a little bit of a snowball effect. Once the fight starts, they just keep on coming and looking at that SSG. Now getting beat down as well as Eagle steps on into the line of fire here.
It's a good trade. Nightmare on 2, SSG on 2. They trade a player back and forth, but Nightmare's still in control of the brick. Just trying to prevent Spacestation Gaming from going to steal. Really the only team actually pushing for the steal right now. There are teams in the area. BTH is here inside a museum, but nobody's actually made a move for the brick yet. SSG's the only team going for it. And they've been able to trade out one member of Nightmare, which is great news for everybody else. But you need to get both of them if you want to pause this timer. And SSG actually got their res. So they've got player advantage. They got to make a move here. They got to get aggressive. And the big question is, do they know where everybody on Nightmare is at? Or are they just going to stick it? It looks like they'll eat some util and just stick the steal. Very well done from Spacestation Gaming to strike while the iron's hot and reset up for another battle. This one, much more defensive.
Yeah, good changeover coming through there from them, but of course this means that they have to keep that pacing going, as Nightmare is going to look to maybe contest the brick yet again. But in the meantime, the rest of the lobby has also now started to tighten up the overall positioning. As you can see, Liquid starting to move on through. Team Liquid not too far away from them either. The pressure starting to stack on up. Attack helicopters getting downed as well. Beautiful shots being played here by Boy. But is that going to mean anything for them moving forward? We have just under 3 minutes left on the clock, and we could expect that metal brick to change hands multiple times before this round is over.
Oh my, I love this free cam. It's almost as like it's stuck in the corner, just watching a security camera showing us that, yeah, everybody's here. And hey, I respect that, okay? Oh, Toot just barely sneaking away from the grapple there from Meg. Saniva can be quite dangerous, but everybody's here for the brick. Thank you to Spacestation Gaming for elongating this one so we can see a big multi-team battle all inside of Museum. For now, Liquids are worried about getting shot in the back, so they're going to try to push BTH here as BTH lands some great utility over the top through the window, trying to force back Liquids and make them think twice about it.
Ooh. Using Uluru inside the building, that takes some kind of nerve to try and pull that off. And BTH not trying, they did that. We did see a few hit markers coming through, but Equal is going to try and steal, and he gets denied as the shots come in. But that is a quick, successful change. Not enough, though, to deter him from stealing that one back again. So, yeah, here we go with round number 3 on the brick. SSG going to try their hand next. But first up, Equal has to try and bring the team back on their feet.
Yeah, Killzone's just going to immediately go for the steal back. And reminder, every time it's stolen, it resets the overall timer, but it goes down another 30 seconds. So that reset basically didn't change the time. It just put it in possession of Spacestation Gaming. Surprisingly, I think Nightmare actually got their third back onto the back side of the balcony and are going to get the res. That's why smokes are so dang important on metal brick rounds and just in general. If you've played any pubs, you know how valuable smokes can be. A little visual cover goes a long way. Nightmare back to a full team of 3, albeit I think Lucas may have been looted a bit, so he may not be full strength. Be curious to see what Nightmare decides to do as Spacestation Gaming have, yes, the brick, and Killzall has a wild credit corner.
It almost looks like he's just staring at the wall there, right? I mean, that just shows you how sneaky that position is. And this is, I think, what's making Nightmare a little bit hesitant. They don't want to set up and push through just yet. They want to try and ride this one out, maybe to see if somebody else is going to dare venture on forward. Team Liquid, in the meantime, they are going to try and gain a bit of entry as they are wrapping around the outside. BTH starting to move up as well. And there we go. Nightmare coming through with a steal back.
Yeah, is a well-placed incendiary. It's not going to do enough damage to equal plays for him to not just stick that. Nightmare, again, back as a full team of 3. We've reset the timer to 2 minutes. Next steal will put it at minimum time, which is 90 seconds. We could steal 10 more times, but it won't go any lower than that 90 seconds. So it's been a pretty good job from Nightmare and SSG to just pass the brick back and forth and take advantage of these small, tiny windows when there's not somebody just holding a sightline square onto the brick. Break the sightline with visual cover like a smoke. Smoke mine from Gizmo even, equal plays. Or just throw a smoke out yourself with a different operator and make a move. Looks like SSG gonna do exactly that. Let's make a move.
Yep, they're gonna try and get their hands on it, and try they will because they do succeed, and that is Now, the first time that we've seen a change coming through for that Mandelbrick, I mean, no team's really advancing all too much, right? Team Liquid still keeping their distance. BTH still quite active downstairs, but are we going to see either of these squads on the outskirts look to contest that Mandelbrick as well? Because for the time being, it's pretty much just between Space Station and Nightmare.
Yeah, this brick has exchanged hands like 15 times, and it's just these two teams back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. No team willing to just sit on a decoding station because there's no cover. So you steal it, and then you get gunned down if you don't back off. So they're stealing it, backing off, and they don't have a line of sight that's able to cover the entirety of the brick, especially when that smoke goes down. So another 90 seconds on the clock that has turned into 65. Will Space Station Gaming just go for it once again, or one of these other teams get aggressive and say, I'm tired of waiting. I got to go for it myself.
Well, let's see who's going to be able to get their hands in the...
Nice.
Meg. There we go. Meg steals it, and this is the list now stepping forward for their swing at the Mandelbrick. But of course, I think this is where Meg's whole Suniva compound bow is going to help them out quite a bit, even coming through with a grappling hook, pulling closer. Some big brain strats coming in, but SSG though are going to try and wrap their way around, see if they can maybe reclaim a little bit of the territory they've lost. We have just under a minute left on the clock, and the pressure is going. So you can see Nightmare trying relentlessly to just keep this one in their possession. Ooh, Liquids.
Yeah, Liquids had stolen it before, just a small little area there on the top UI, but Liquids had stolen it before, but they also killed Killzall. This is a huge takedown in that engagement. It was a massive moment for this team, so disregard when you see that it's Liquids in control. 35 seconds on the clock, and Liquids have player advantage over Space Station Gaming. I don't think it can be Space Station Gaming going for this. However, look at Skies taking down one member of Nightmare with a great flank up the forklift. A big moment, potentially. As trading of blows going back and forth. Boy finds his way to 3 kills, but Liquid's still in control of the brick. People are losing their teammates left, right, and center, but Liquid's still alive. No! They get fully wiped. BTH finally going in for the third party. The timer is fully paused. No one in control. The next team to go for the brick will reset it to 90 seconds again. Liquid's out. Team Nadeshot's been out for a while. And everybody lost a teammate in that engagement, and everybody was able to grab their bodies and go for the reses yet again. What a wild map thus far.
So after eight times changing into different hands, we now sit with a paused Mandelbrick. So somebody needs to be the next team to step on up. It does seem like it might be Nightmare trying to get it underway, as it has apparently shifted over to them, according to what we can see over on towards the left side of the screen. But the team's still quite hesitant. Nobody wants to full send. They know that there is quite a bit of pressure in and around that decoding station, but it's going to be SSG trying to risk it all as they step up. They do start the timer back up again. And now this is where things get really serious, because we are down to 4 teams, almost 3, and we don't have a lot of time left in this round.
Well, there's your 3. An unbelievable Allure rocket comes flying into a tiny corridor and takes down 2 out of 3 members of Nightmare, and the third just gets gunned. SSG with a big push. A great play that I think yielded more results than they were even expecting. Space Station Gaming in control and currently hunting down the remnants of BTH and Team Liquid, while also maintaining control of this decoding station. Oh no, BTH in trouble as Team Liquid actually have their sights on there. Oh no, again! Kills off the backside. Who's letting Space Station Gaming continue to res Killzall? If he goes down, you gotta keep him down. He's on his feet, and he's got 4 kills since he got rezzed. Team Liquid in trouble.
Yep, definitely in a world of trouble at this point. The solo up, not quite sure if they're going to be able to do all too much just yet. Could maybe still sneak in a cheeky play, but there's very limited time left on that Mandelbrick. So Team Liquid focusing on getting the team numbers up. And it does seem like SSG, of course, keeping their focus solidly locked on defending that Mandelbrick. But BTH can try and contest it. They have to be really quick about it, that there's already a few moments left.
Space Station Gaming is gonna get it. Sky is gonna stick out, go prone, and make sure nobody touches that decoding station until they finally capture the brick. Space Station Gaming first to the brick. Great news if you're Space Station fans, is this is going to put it even much more difficult for anybody to catch them on the group standings. Space Station Gaming will also try to win this big engagement with BTH. And with one player down, Space Station Gaming even going to get that res. Toot's having to back off with about 4 HP. As Team Liquid, yes, still in the area. And Toot's still making nice plays over the top. But I think Space Station Gaming just stick this res yet again. He needs to put one of these down and complete the kill, so they can't just keep getting these reses. Many of their players have already been to yellow. You get a full confirm, they will be out for the count.
Well, we've got Tute now trying to do a little bit of something here. Gets kills all down. He is. Oh, but the
nice
double jump coming through from SSG will help them save the day. Team Liquid now down to a 2-piece themselves. You can see Boyd trying to step up. Can he contest this? Will they be able to get the steal? I mean, good line of sight across the way. Just need to be patient, right? We got just under 3 minutes now remaining on the clock. Nobody has even touched any of the airdrops, as all the focus has shifted right up into Museum itself. And I mean, if Boy ever said anything, this is quite a bit of a statement, standing right on top of the cover as opposed to being anywhere close to behind it. A quick little peek across the way just to make sure that he knows exactly which way to face. And this is going to be go time now for them.
SSG are looking like their earlier form in the group stages. I believe they won that engagement with Toot, by the way. I want to say it was actually with the Raptor drone going in and exploding, getting him all discombobulated, and they just double chow it. So a nice play. I believe that was the only util they had left. I was right on my cooldowns, but here comes a full team of 3. Team Liquid back on their feet versus a full team of 3 of Space Station Gaming. A 3v3 to wrap up the map. No matter what happens, Space Station Gaming will be on top. But they are showing 8 kills now. After all those tradings of blows with Nightmare from earlier, it looks like Team Liquid have actually sent Mendo out to the edge of the map to go get the He will get the while Skies from SSG are going to get the Lucky Wooden Sculptures. Those Lucky Wooden Sculptures, great way to get gold armor. You all know the drill. Team Liquid and Space Station Gaming continuing to fight for the next 75 seconds, while at least one member of each team going for objectives on the map.
Well, now it's just a little bit of a cat and mouse game coming through between both sides. As you can see, Gilzal trying to just have a little bit of something happen over towards the side of Team Liquid. Meanwhile, Mendo taking that long trek all the way up to the north to get into the no-bag escape. But he is being hunted by Skies, who's coming in hard right on his heels. Is he going to make it out? Yes, he did. But valiant effort, though, there by Skies trying to stop that from happening. In the meantime, it leaves the rest of Team Liquid down to a 2-piece. And, well, as you've said already, doesn't matter how this one ends off. So SSG are going to be the team sitting at the top because they was able to get a successful extraction, or decoding rather, of that mantle brick.
Nice kill there from Hodzik, though. Again, Team Liquid just looking for points. They want to be in a second place position and a pole position, a podium position going into Tide Prison. So these are still important engagements. It's a kill point. It's 800k. Too easy. He's going to try to 1v2. Gets one. Pre-fires and almost gets the second. Too easy. Almost put on a show for us, but there goes the time. Team Liquid, they at least get a couple kills to wrap up the lobby, and they at least get Mendo out of the lobby with the A very important note that maybe snuck under our noses, because Mendo left the engagement, said, nah, that's not for me. Let's go get an objective to prepare for future rounds. I really like this forward thinking from Mendo. It's well worth it, considering you can't buy the ammo for this weapon at any point in the competition. You have to earn it on the map. So great job from Mendo to stay alive after getting res back up, get out, get the and get out of the map, especially with little amount of time left on the game clock. So great job there. But of course, Space Station Gaming, the top team, the best team, because they picked up the most kills by a ton. They picked up 9 kills, a great game, nearly 2,500 damage. Some assets gained in the safe boxes, of course, but the mantle brick, the most important piece. Space Station Gaming back in final form.
Yes, sir. They unlocked those 9 kills alongside a very interesting play coming through from them. But of course, Team Liquid also managing, as you said, right, to get Mendo out with that very an AWM, and they were able to score themselves 6 kills along that. So a very decent run here for them. But it is going to be SSG Skies, the one coming in hot pursuit, sitting at the top of the board here with those 4 kills in the bag. I mean, SSG trying everything they possibly think of in this round that they not only get the mantle break, but they secure as much opportunities for themselves in this round. So I'd say very well done.
Yeah, Killzone is back in final form. Spacestation Gaming back in final form. They're crushing it right now, and I think it was great patience from them as well to take the engagements at the right time and also stick their reses at the right time. It's something that a lot of teams get too scared to do because of that notification that goes off when you're getting the reses. But Sky's is going to end up being your MVP, and I will shout out Mindo as well for being top asset earner as the only player to get out of the map. But Sky's MVP with 4 kills, plenty of damage, and some assets in pocket. Great job from him. Great job from Spacestation Gaming. They're at the top of the leaderboard, no question about it, and I think Team Liquid will be right behind them. No mantle breaks for Team Liquid, but solid amount of kill points and assets. Folks, you see it down below. Drop a follow on all major socials here with Delta Force, including the eSports channel. A lot going on in the scene from Season 2 that's coming up, and of course, even updates coming up down the line with the main part of Delta Force for you to play in public lobbies. So a lot going on with Delta Force. Drop that follow and get ready for Tide Prison. We'll be right back in just a moment with Sneaky Tide Prison.
Two members, now the odds are in their favor, 2v1.
Everything getting spammed away, and MT getting a little... So hang on a second, NL! Look at that! It's an absolute swing!
This. And Elliot's got it over here. Lines them up, even through the shot. You're nuts! For the last remaining 3 BOV, they find 2 instant knocks. The Elm's gonna be hopping off to that.
Got the mantle bricks. Find and stop them. Mantle bricks decoded. Nice work, operator.
The time to strike is now. Do not let me down, operator.
Decoding has begun. Defend the area.
It's about to take the first hit to break up the tournament. And they're going to do it.
What goes around comes around.
Oh, I'm not going to do very much though. You get barrel stuff. Skydie is getting aggressive.
See what I did there? You ain't seen nothing yet.
Let's knock them off their feet.
There we go. Much damage, and there it is.
Welcome back. Delta Force Rise series just wrapped up our first mantle brick round here with Americas in the final day of group stages. The final chance for these teams to push their way up the group standing leaderboard and maybe make it straight to finals or just secure a spot in the survivor stages next week. Killzone, Spacestation Gaming, they grabbed the first brick and they grabbed the most amount of kills, back to true and final form of 9 kills on the map playing at a museum. Everybody was there, everybody tried to take part, but only a couple teams benefited. Team Liquid, Spacestation Gaming, namely, well, they won out the most. You'll see it on the leaderboard in just a second. And DK, I'm excited to get into Tide Prison. I think it'll be a fun eco round. It may, looking at this leaderboard, it may mean that some of these teams at the top get a little loose and go even more aggressive to kind of put the pedal to the metal.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of metal and there's a lot of pedals that they could be hitting at this point. And looking at the scoreboard, it is getting pretty close. Liquid and SSG, a little bit of that copy-paste. The only difference between them, of course, is that SSG has Mandelbrick on board. And so that is going to be applying a little bit of pressure, but not in this round, right? This is going to be the eco run. So I'm going to be looking at two teams here, BTH and Liquids, right? They need to climb that board. As we know, the lowest point for them to try and hit today is going to be second place. That is where they have to try and get to. And of course, do so with Mandelbricks in tow as well. The same can be said there for Team Nadeshot if they want to jump up into that Friday day of play. So a lot of pressure riding on the shoulders here for the squads. SSG, though, having a bit of an opportunity to sit back and just breathe again, right? It's good to see them really locking in with those kills, getting themselves back into the form that we know and we are so familiar with. But of course, it's all down to how they can continue to play through this Tide, right? Because Tide Prison, always an interesting one to watch.
Yeah, I think the biggest surprise for me on that leaderboard is Nightmare. This has been a team that has been so dang strong in the last couple weeks that to see them basically with 0 points. I mean, they have 2 technically just because of resupplies, but other than that, they've basically not gotten anything on the map. So pretty surprising there. They're going to come in pretty cheap in Tide Prison. They need a big map here to re-up and get some more substantial gear going into our next Mandelbrick round. Quick look at the operators, though. It looks like most teams don't have a Raptor now, and it looks like Liquids doesn't have a D-Wolf with a couple Toxics gone as well. So yeah, some interesting comps going into Tide Prison. Usually we talk about double Noxes potentially making a play, and I think that's kind of fun for some of these teams, especially if they're going to be fairly aggressive and go for kills and look for kind of solo hero moments or great flanks, etc. We'll probably definitely see some Morses as well, just get a lot of value out of the sonar that Morse provides. But other than that, I think it comes up to player preference. Could see maybe even the second Saniva for Liquids and Meg, but here's a look at what we see the most popular operators, regardless of what I was talking about.
Yeah, we do see Shepard, Nox, and Morse being used quite frequently when stepping over into Woodstide. Of course, the players, they could choose whichever. Nox predominantly being used here. That's almost always a guarantee, right? Pretty much like we see Tempest heading over into Space City. But I think Shepard also a very, very strong option for that. And as you've said many times before, Morse really good for gathering that info, especially if you're not sure whether or not you're about to get jumped.
Yeah, no, totally agree. And then also we all know that the rats are going to be in, okay? There's going to be a lot of people hiding in corners, hiding behind doorways. There's a ton of verticality. You can get shot from a weird angle that goes through prison bars, down through another set of prison bars, and shoots you in the head. Like, there's a lot of weird spots on Tide Prison. And as we look at some of the spots on Tide Prison with the spawns, I think it's worth reminding you all, of course, that BTH and Nightmare got a really nice priority spawn in Brakkesh, which means they will not get a priority spawn in Tide Prison, which means they'll be eligible again in the next round, which are our next Mandelbrick round. So really, you don't really want the T1 spawns on Tide Prison. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, of course. If you're a competitor, maybe you really want to get active from mid-map and you think this is the best way for you to do that. I haven't seen anybody get really active at Tide Prison. So, hey, you proved me wrong, but otherwise, we're looking to not get T1 so that you can prepare for the Mandelbrick round and hopefully get a nice spawn there on Space City. But folks, we've got more for you. Season 2 Delta Force Rise Series, a chance for you to play in this competition. You see that open registration. That registration opens on August 10th. If you want to get into Season 2, it's open qualifiers. That's how most of the teams, or some of the teams, got here for Season 1. There's a chance for you to get there on Season 2. I'm seeing chat. You all know I like to be active in chat during these competitions. I'm reading all the criticizing of teams. I get it. I see some of the stuff you're seeing, but you got to go get in the game and see if you can do better. To do that, you got to sign up. Open registration August 10th, and then we'll play a little bit later from then on out. It's going to be wrapping up this year, so be ready to ball out and maybe prove some of the haters wrong. Let's get into the action, though, DK. It's time for some Tide Prison.
Yes, sir. It is indeed time for us to get this party underway. It is going to be Space Station and Liquids finding themselves with that T1 spawn. Now, this is Liquid's second T1 spawn, right? They got it over on Zero Dam. Now they get it right here in Tide as well. So a very interesting dealing going in that direction. But of course, you can see both them and SSG just full sending it, heading right up into the Warden's office to go look for a little bit of that loot. Starting us off with a little bit of a back and forth peek through the doors, potentially. Interesting play coming through here. Ooh, we did see a no back coming in. Killzone, though, kicking us off with the first blood.
A call and response. They heard my call for action and they find the angle immediately. Space Station Gaming, I told you they might get a little loose because they've got some room to work on the leaderboard. They've got the first brick. They've got some room for error. Let's full send. One player down. This is the signal player you need to full send these fights. And with Nox in tow, I'm going to try to shoot them down. But unfortunately, not thinking like it's worth it to go for a swim and try to battle in the water. So instead, let's just grab this body, put it in a place that they're not going to be able to get it back, and probably loot it until we can take everything off of it.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, that's a good way to make sure that you get everything of value from that. Also, you just got to watch out for the sharks. That is one thing. But in the meantime, we do see Equal getting his hands on a bit of that red loot as the coffee has been found right on cue. As we look to see them now just, you know, cooking that up, getting it ready, sipping on some coffee, and coming back with that high caffeine boost as they push through the remainder of this round. But again, though, Meg is going to be set up with the compound bow, ready to strike across the way if anybody dares to push in.
You know, a wild place to be in, frankly, all the way back on the backside of the map. And hopefully one of these connects. And wow, Farmer Lucas from Nightmare, able to pull 1.4 mil. Holy cow. Let's do a quick vibe check and see what they were thinking going into this map anyways.
Seconds before deployment, as the IGL of our team, what's going through my head is how to call confidently and execute a perfect round for me and my teammates. If my teammates find entries, I will be supporting them. And if I find an entry, I expect my teammates to support me.
Well, there you go. Some very tactical and logical breakdowns of what the IGL role is, which I can appreciate. But hey, he's got a server in tow. That's a nice 1.4 mil. And look at Smile, also pulling 1.9 mil. Okay, luck is finally starting to enter the lobby. This match is getting exciting. I like it.
Yeah, they bagging some big reds right there. We did see Killzone also picking up that red card as well. So let's see if are going to be finding any more of that. Most of those things, of course, can fit quite comfortably in the 3x3. But it's all going to be down to who can get not only the value, but also get that value extracted, right? It helps a lot if you have it, but it helps even more if you can walk away. Now, everybody just going about their business. SSG still going to be looting it up. They are still pretty much holding J-Device captive right there alongside them. Talk about camping a body. That is taking it to the whole different level.
I mean, you got to. Let's take a quick look back on the replay of how Killzone found this angle. Just got down at the right time and drop shotted him. Oh, that is a brutal replay. Great play there from Killzone. Nice find. That body not going to get picked up anytime soon, if at all. So great play there from Spacestation Gaming to at least punish or find an opportunity, rather, to get a kill. In regards to reds, I mean, the best reds are the key cards. You need one slotters, but that server, I'm pretty sure is a 3x4. I don't even think that fits in his safe box. So Farmer Lucas just going to be lugging around a giant server in his backpack for a while. We'll see what he's able to do on the map with the IGL calls, though. Look at the map of where everybody's set up. I think big ticket items, of course, you do see Team Liquid all the way on the northwestern side of the map. Team Nadeshot in the east. Liquid's fully split, playing their own game. Poppy is all the way bottom right, and Meg is underneath, I think, Team Nadeshot, if I'm seeing the verticality correctly. Spacestation Gaming and Nightmare close by, maybe the next engagement. But things slowed down.
Yeah, we might be in for a bit of a ride here as we still have about 13 minutes left on the clock. Nobody going to be looking to make any crazy major steps just yet. We did have J-Device, the first one down, but other than that, we're not seeing anybody else really looking to contest. I mean, there is a bit of a standoff here between SSG and Nightmare. I think we could just deal with a few of the scouts around them. Ooh, this could be a beautiful snowball play coming through yet again. And there we have the opener. Equal locks on in, picks up Skies, and this is now going to be go time.
Yeah, just a bit of a mistake there from Skies. Couldn't tell, maybe just open the door at the right angle for equal plays to line him up. Skies down, too easy and kills all. Gonna slow things down here. Can't push into a full team of 3, especially I know Nightmare doesn't look great on our overall leaderboard, but they're a very strong team. Killzall's just watching the flank, making sure there's not gonna be a third party while they discuss what to do in that engagement. This is a fun watch. Cause just hanging way back here, and Meg's having fun just doing some target practice. A moving target from like 600 meters away. Why not?
The impressive part is if Meg gets to hit that shot, Car would never have seen that coming, right? Because Car is not necessarily looking in his direction. He knows that there's some kind of danger up ahead of him, but it's going to be interesting to see whether or not Meg can actually get that shot landed. I think it'd be interesting to know what's the longest hit that Meg has successfully secured with that compound bow.
Yeah, that's a good question. Listen, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take, a wise man once said, so take your shots, Meg. I'm about to break out my best David Attenborough impression if we're not careful, so let's listen in to some of the team cons on Team Liquid and see what they're yapping
You got
about.
a call on TikTok?
Yeah, I get that shit daily. Shit's annoying.
I click not interested when I get them.
That's fucked up. That's actually fucked up.
Well, a nice listen-in. Uh-oh. Hey, in that listen-in, they're talking about TikTok calls. Let's swing over. Team Nadeshot. Smile, my goat. A full wrap on Hackclaw. He's currently alone, and he found an angle. SSG in deep trouble. Skies got cut down earlier. No chance of getting that body. And he finds one. Too easy down. Kills all alone.
Ooh. Nice little bit of loot there for Smile as well. Getting his hands on some info as he knows that there's at least one person ahead of him. And we can, of course, see exactly who that is. It is going to be Killzall just waiting up top. Already got the angle on lockdown. But is he going to be able to do enough to continue with the defense, right? SSG. I don't think they're going to get too much if they don't have a successful run in this one. They do have the Mandel Brick in their hands. They just got to focus up coming into round number 4. But in the meantime, we did see that drop coming down pretty close to BTH here as the Lord Jago is going to be looking to push on forward. Meg again going at it here with the compound bow. Can he hit the shots? Oh, he's getting close, but not close enough. Fortunately, though, Meg still has 28 more. So we could be here for a good hot minute to see whether or not Meg is actually going to be able to get that shot in.
Let me be very clear. Meg is shooting the entire width of Tide Prison map. I need some nerd in the chat. I'm also a nerd, okay? That is not a derogatory term. I need some nerd that knows the width of Tide Prison. Meters, pixels, I don't care. Somebody tell me the width and see how far away Meg is taking the shots. Look at the map. BTH was all the way down here in West Watchtower area. I mean, you couldn't almost shoot the bow any further, so... Somebody let me know. Somebody do some research for me. Maybe open up the game. I can't boot it up on my setup while I'm casting. So maybe boot up the game and tell me how far away that is. Because that's just unreasonable. If it hits, it would be sick. But uh-oh, guess what? Spring the trap, a surprise. No more talk of TikTok. Team Liquid just wiped BTH. The Rats win again.
Well, there we go. The angles are going to be paying off for them. Team Liquid now trying to get a little bit of something from this Nightmare. Are going to look to push in as well. Oh, this could be brutal. Equal-minded can't see a single thing, but the shots are in. And oh, Equal goes down.
A big play from Nightmare. Team Liquid confident from their last engagement, but the third party from Nightmare almost a cleanup there. Almost getting a couple trades, and unfortunately Nightmare just immediately get all of those reses back. So no extra kills. Oh, nice ventilator pull. No extra kills for the side of Team Liquid, but they got enough to at least find some value on the map. And I'm gonna be honest, I think that that might be the most valuable airdrop I've seen in a while. That was multiple reds, ventilator, gold bar. You know, you're starting to clear $1 million on that second airdrop. Maybe not as low value as I've been talking about for a while.
Yep, the value going the distance, and it's good to see exactly just how much of it they were able to get from that. But the big important part for them is going to be to extract with that in tow. So not quite sure how they are going to look to play through it, whether they're going to go for a quick pull extraction or maybe try and work their way to that far southern side. Either which way, they're going to have to do a little bit of something if they want to get all this value out. And already sitting up to 7.4 million. They are having a field day here.
Yeah, I certainly agree. Nightmare is in a great spot now after that engagement and looting up the bodies. A lot of bodies in the area. Team Nadeshot also got some nice engagements, which they desperately needed. Reminder, Nightmare and Team Nadeshot were the two teams at the bottom of the leaderboard, so this is a big move. This is the eco round they needed. This is what I had just called out. You needed eco here. They had literally nothing to show for the first 2 rounds because they got wiped early. They needed the eco to be able to buy the kits they need going into Space City. So a pretty big moment. Maybe even worth getting some of these high-value loot, stacking up a player to the gills and getting them out.
So far, it does seem like they're going to be full sending it just down to that southern edge. They do have just a few seconds until that southern extraction becomes active, but Liquids are pretty decently set up there in anticipation, waiting for somebody to push up to it. You can see Meg in position alongside Puppy, just over towards the south here. And I think all that practicing that Meg has been doing with the compound bow already, trying to get the shots up into BTH, could be paying off now as Nightmare starts to move up.
If Meg hits this shot, I'm dropping 5 gifted at least. Gotta hit the shot and the cleanup from this distance. Oh, wait, Equal Place just showed us. Was that, what is that, 270 meters? I think it was 270. I thought it'd actually be a little bit further than that. Still very far. Got the rangefinder scope. Oh, the hit! Oh, I was almost down 5 gifted. That was crazy. Got a hit. Cross map. There you go. I feel like we're watching a mini game. Reminder, there's a lot on the line right now, but I can appreciate Meg's persistency in this moment. And hey, it also makes Nightmare think at least for a second, think twice about jumping down and going for the extraction, theoretically. Only 3.5 minutes on the clock, but after thinking twice about it, they said, okay, never mind, let's just go. Oh no! Deathwing! Deathwing broke his legs!
Ooh.
Oh no! They're gonna have to go for the res. I love that we got that from Meg's perspective. That's funny.
I think what would have been, what would really put the cherry on top if Meg gets one of those hits while they're busy dropping down, right? Like a mid-air compound bow hit. That would be, I mean, that would be super, super sweaty and impressive. But let's see. Meg, of course, still might have a few opportunities to get onto that as the extraction point is now active. Ooh, Nightmare. Get the ticket and out they go.
I think they were expecting a bit more resistance because they moved at the perfect time to get there with, what, 2 seconds remaining by the time they were able to even climb onto the platform. So great job from Nightmare. Again, I said this right before we started this game. The win condition, what Nightmare needed to do is exactly what they did. They needed to get loot, they needed to get kills, and they needed to get out. They needed assets. They had 2 points, which is just what you get for playing the game. Just the resupply gave them those 2 points. And so with that in mind, this is a big moment for them to kind of swing the momentum back in their favor. They're going to be able to play the game that they want to moving into the next Space City round.
Yeah, I mean, 8.2 mil, that is going to help them out quite a bit as well. So, yeah, Nightmare just on the money with that one. Really good play, but let's take a look back at how Nightmare got themselves into that extraction.
No, that's crazy.
You got to watch out for the sudden stop. See, so it's not the height that hurts. It's that quick stop at the end.
Yeah, it's the landing on the rock there rather than the water, I suppose. Oh, man. Production having a laugh just like we are. Fair enough. I respect the replay. All right. About 100 seconds on the clock for Team Nadeshot to figure out what they're going to shove in their safe boxes. Would be surprised if they don't elect to try to get a player out. And actually, they're nowhere near. Misread the minimap there. They're actually nowhere near an individual extract. It's going to be Meg closest to it. So spent a ton of arrows with very little reward, but at least we'll get out and protect some of the loot on them. I think that's an important note, and nobody else will be able to take it out. Likely Killzall was going to come play for this. Maybe spotted or heard them. Killzall would like to find a kill here. Poppy going to be left alone for Liquids. Liquids the same. A big 1v1. Potentially about to happen on main in the final 60 seconds. Well, Team Nadeshot creeps around the rest of the map looking for any loot or whatever they want to do for the next little while. Killzall was looking for kills. No, he was looking to extract here, I think.
Ooh. Yeah, unfortunately, he now realizes that that is not going to be a viable option. And that is pretty much his ticket punch, right? There's not enough time left on the clock for him to make anything else really happen at this point. He's just simply too far away. But this is where Bobby Power could also still be quite a bit of a player at this point. As you can see, Killzall now getting pushed from multiple directions, right? Team Nadeshot moving up. And Bobby around, about to peek around the corner here. Killzall waiting. Oh.
Terrible timing. Goes for the util, and they jump at the perfect moment. Killzall gets cut down. Team Nadeshot gets an extra one in their belt. Can he get the full? Poppy able to get the kill and a full on Team Nadeshot to make his life worthwhile here in the final second or two. Nice play. Team Nadeshot get one. Liquids get another. Okay. Hey, we got some value on the map. I like it.
Yeah, I mean, you got to do what you got to do, right? If you need to go out there and be an absolute menace, go ahead, right? Do what you got to. But now comes the big shift, right? This is where the teams now have to kind of step up that approach, as we are going to be changing things up, right? Space is going to be the next one. And Mandelbrick already in play, right? We did see SSG unlocking the first one. Are they going to make a full send trying to get that second one? Or could we potentially have one of the opposing teams looking to get their hands on a quick cheeky deco?
That's a good question. Nightmare, though, going to be best team. They do pick up 3 kills. They pick up 8.2 mil assets because they're picking up reds off bodies. And they also all get out. So protect their loot, get out of the map. The team that was near bottom of the leaderboard, tied for last, just made a big move on this leaderboard to be well within contention moving into Space City. Going to be the best team because of all that loot value. But Team Liquids did pick up a team wipe. They picked up 3 kills. Team Nadeshot picked up 2 kills. And then Spacestation Gaming and BTH and Liquids all picked up a kill. So at least everybody got a little bit of something.
Yeah, everybody gets it all. Speaking about which, though, our top killer is going to be none other than Nightmare's equal, as he did bring at least 2 kills to the board here. Smile also managing to bag up a little bit of something there. Puppy getting that one, as we saw right at the end there. But Equal, though, going to be sitting at the top with the damage right alongside Killzall and Smile, looking to bring some possession in for their squads. But DW is going to be the one lending quite a bit of a helping hand onto the side there of Nightmare. And a very successful run here on Tide for the side of Nightmare, as they are at the top of the asset owners.
Yep, it's a great move. All got out. Perfect timing as well, just in case they were getting camped. This is what I like about Farmer Lucas as the IGL man. The guy does not make mistakes very often because he doesn't take any chances, but equal plays, gets credited the MVP with a couple kills, some nice damage, and of course, a solid amount of loot from that extract. So great job there. Nightmare back on the board, playing much more like the Nightmare that we expected to see after 2 match wins in a row. It's time for them to step up, and they do that in Tide Prison. We're moving to Space City next, folks. Our next Mantle Brick round technically could be the last game, DK. Quickly, do you think Space Station Gaming can close it out in 4, DK, or do you think it's going more than that?
I don't think they will. I think the lobby will stop them before that.
Okay, thinking that we're going to go a little more than 4. We'll see. Space Station Gaming can close it out, folks. You're not going to want to miss it. Space City up next. Space Station Gaming. I don't know. The names match. We'll be right back in just a moment.
Two members now the odds are in their favor. 2v1. Everything getting spammed away. And MT getting a little. So hang on a second, NL. Look at that. It's an absolute sweep. And Ellis has got it. They're here. Lines them up. Even through the shot. You're nuts. The last remaining 3 BOV. They find 2 instant knocks. The Elm's going to be hopping off that.
Welcome back to the Pro Tips, the educational series where we break down the high-level strategies powering the Delta Force pro scene. Now, today, joining me on the couch is the Star Captain and, of course, the Fragger all the way from Space Station Gaming. Killzol, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
Pretty excited to be here. Now, let's discuss a few things, right? We are going to be looking at the landscape, which is, as we've seen, pure madness, right? Evil Geniuses, they planted the brick quite early, but as multiple teams like FaZe and Nightmare look to congeal onto the brick itself, starting a bit of a bottleneck, this is where you decide to cultivate your Tempest ult, just run in, dive into the fire, straight into the flames, discovering and detecting that there are players that you eliminate quite a few of them, and in that you also anchor the platform completely alone and lock it in for that round. Watching the sequence back, right, the Tempest push through the fire was incredibly aggressive. Now, was that something that you committed to immediately, or did you recognize the opportunity as the fight unfolded?
I recognized it immediately. I've played the character for a long time, and you could actually just roll through fire so you take minimal damage from it. And my teammates needed me out there, so I'm not going to leave them hanging. I'm out there to brawl with them.
Reflecting on the section that we're talking about here, right? Where do you think the fight was actually won? Was it the rotation? Was it the Tempest play? Or was it something the viewers might not immediately notice?
The fight was won when my teammates were holding off a whole team by themselves, just the 2 of them, 2v3. Easy got 2 knocks on the ramp team. Skies unfortunately died instantly, but Easy got the 2 knocks, almost got all 3. He just ran out of bullets, and he completely clutched up the brick for us there, while I was downed rezzing in the building, staying alive for the team. And they were just there to protect the brick for as long as they could.
Well, definitely sounded like you know, there's a reason why you have such great faith in your fellow teammates there. So well done that one. But now for the final question, and this is going to be for the operators at home, right? If there's one pro tip that they could take away from this clip, what would it be?
Trust in yourself and your teammates. You got to have the confidence to take the fights yourself, and you got to have the confidence in your teammates as well. And if you can't trust them, it's hard to take these fights. You just got to completely fall into each other's arms and just be a nice big old team.
So you didn't just wait for the opportunity, you forced the entire lobby to play at your tempo. So thank you so much for sharing your champion's mindset here with us today, and best of luck in the rest of the group stage. For the operators at home, be decisive, trust your team, and go take those points for yourself. I'll see you next time on Pro Tips.
Enemy got the mantle bricks. Find them. Stop them. Mantle bricks decoded. Nice work, operator.
The time to strike is now. Do not let me down, operator.
Decoding has begun. Defend the area.
Is about to take the first brick of the tournament. And they're going to do it.
What goes around comes around.
Oh, not gonna do very much. Don't you get barrel stuff? Skydie is getting aggressive.
See what I did there? You ain't seen nothing yet.
Let's knock them off their feet.
There we go. There it is.
Welcome back, Delta Force Rise series. Ladies and gentlemen, just wrapped up a riveting Tide Prison, and we saw a couple kills, exchange blows, but it was Nightmare that got all three players out and therefore crept up the leaderboard by a sizable margin. They needed that loot value to prepare for what is next, which is our first Space City round. And of course, that means it's mantle bricks until we are done. I'm pumped to see this leaderboard. We know that Spacestation Gaming have the first brick and therefore have a power position on this map. They move in as the only team on match point, the only team that could close out the competition right here, right now. Let's take a look at the leaderboard. DK, walk me through it.
Well, as we can see, we got the players from SSG still holding strong, holding steady, but Team Liquid closing the gap considerably now, all the way up to 21 squad points. BTH, though, also doing a little bit of work here, making sure that they are knocking at the door. But for the rest of the teams, Nightmare, surprisingly, though, not really having a monstrous day so far, right? They've not really been a nightmare for the rest of the lobby. So it is all to be seen as we step into the next round, heading over into round number 4. But Team Liquid definitely leading with regards to the aggression, sitting on a very comfortable 14 kills so far. And that all now is going to come to the table as we step into our second Mantle Brick round for the day. This could, of course, be the round that ends the day and group stage right here.
Yeah, biggest question in my mind is talking about these operators, right? We don't see anybody that has used the Tempest already, which means the biggest question is, when are you using the Tempest? Are you using it in 4.5? Or are you using it in 5.6? Are you using it in 4.6? Like, you get the idea. You can use it 2 out of the next 3 maps, and then on round 7, if we get there, of course, everything resets. This is the classic comp. Stinger, Luna, Tempest. It's been attempted 48 times. It's obviously meta. There's some slight variations that you will see, but for a team like Spacestation Gaming, sometimes we'll see a team that has the Mantle Brick already not use a Tempest on round 4, namely because they want an advantage on 5 or 6, where some of the other teams won't have an advantage, but they've already got a brick so they can close it out. It's kind of that small little extra advantage they could have to potentially win with the double brick, which Spacestation Gaming just needs to do well today to secure second place, but I'm sure they'd like to have the ego boost of getting a win today and preventing some of these other teams from getting points. So looking at the spawns, we do see that Spacestation Gaming and Liquids unfortunately got the T1 spawn on Tide Prison, which means they won't have it moving into Space City. We know about those T1 spawns in Space City, though. They're very deadly. Central Command may be quite as valuable, as you're able to just sprint across that bridge if you don't get shot. So, DK, things about to get real mixy for us here on Space City. And before you take it away, I've got another giveaway, and I need chat to get your typing fingers ready. I'm giving you a lot of heads up this time. There it is. Delta tickets on the line. 1,000 Delta tickets. Type in the code as fast as possible. You can redeem in-game or at the official website. You got to be one of the few. Only 15 of you will type this in fast enough to get your Delta tickets. So hopefully you're paying attention. And I tried to give you as much heads up as I could. So there's your code. Type it in. If it says invalid, you're a bit too slow, and you can try again another time. All right, DK, it's Space City time. Take it away.
Yes, sir. Here we go already, and right out of the gate with Team Nadeshot and, of course, the Nightmare getting themselves those T1 spawns. Team Liquid, though, decent setup, as we can see them right up here in Dormitory, keeping a very close look on that gate to see whether or not they can get an angle in onto Nadeshot. So far, so good. Nadeshot make it through unscathed. Not even a single shot came in their direction. A really good play for them, and I'm pretty sure they are quite pleased with that. In the meantime, Nightmare looking across the way over towards BTH, coming through with an angle and a fight that I've not yet seen happen over on Space City, but a good showing of aggression coming through from Nightmare.
Yeah, I like this spot a lot for Nightmare. Position over the top, keeping BTH at bay. A lot we could talk about with the map feed. In particular, where these players are coming in from, where they're going to. But of course, everybody wants to play for the brick. And you can see that on the left-hand side of your screen, everybody but Space Station Gaming and Liquids, actually, have elected to use their Tempest on this round. So Space Station Gaming doing a lot of what we expected, which is not go hyper-aggressive on this brick. They're not trying to kind of gamble, if you will, on playing for this brick, and therefore putting all their eggs in one basket and losing out on some things. So you don't even see them in gold there, bringing in some gold ammo because they've got the money to do that. But BTH in full gold and BTH investing the Tempest, you've got to assume that they're going to go for the brick, but it's Team Nadeshot that's able to move first. They've got the brick in hand.
Yep, and now comes the chaos as they start to run, and they are going to try and maybe get themselves up into the alley. As you can see, Slip now just quickly trying to sneak his way through, but quite a few hits already, just hitting right in behind them. But here we go. Placement about to come in, and it is going to be go time. As, well, nobody really over on towards this western side of the map just yet. The whole entirety of ramp is open. So let's see who's going to be coming through with this. But here we are now, right? Team Liquid still up in Dormitory. They haven't moved all too much just yet. I'm not quite sure if they are going to try and maybe pressure up in towards Central Command, or if they're going for a little bit of an ulterior or alternative approach to get themselves closer to that brick.
Yeah, Nightmare, again, still in mid-map in the green, and Team Nadeshot just struck while the iron's hot. I use that phrase often, but you just got to take those moments where you have an advantage, you have a chance to make a big play, you just gotta send it. And when you do, Team Nadeshot, they scouted around, didn't see anybody in the area, and said, cool, sounds good, we'll take the brick first. And they had a great spot at Centrifuge. This is the classic play. This is probably, if the Museum Decoding Station is 70%, this is probably 65% of the Space City maps that we see. The Decoding Station outside of Buoyancy and Centrifuge is one that it's very easy to hold, and it's one that teams love to go to, especially with Tempest, because you can reach the spawn and the Decoding Station with one Tempest ult. So it's an easy way to grab it quickly, but Team Nadeshot didn't even have to do that. Still plenty of time for everybody to approach the brick, but Space Station Gaming not even kind of concerned about playing for the brick right now. They're up at Employee Passage, looking for some kills potentially on the top side of this map.
Well, let's see how this one is going to play out here. Liquids, SSG, very comfortable up on towards those four northern positions. Unfortunately for SSG, though, the decoding is not taking place all the way up there. It is instead right smack dab in the alley. Good spray through from Killzol, finding quite a bit of damage quickly, getting that rocket ready. Out it goes, looking for even more, but unfortunately not getting his hands on it. Slip, though, is going to be traded on up as Eagle rushes forward, just absolutely wiping down the side of Team Nadeshot.
Smile in deep trouble right now. Equal Plays is on a tear. And unfortunately for Smile and Slept, who's back on his feet after using the Tempest ult and self-reviving, Nightmare are feeling good. They brought in the big guns. Golds, Tempest, and of course, great comms from their IGL and great shots from their fragger. Equal Plays finds another. Peek for a hair too long. He's going to punish you. Smile on the run. Gonna hide for a bit and see if he can ever reapproach this brick. Yes, they're currently decoding, but that will get stolen here shortly by Nightmare. Meg picks up a double from distance. I know we care about the brick, but thank you, production, for showing me that. My goodness, Team Liquid lose 2 players to Meg's bow. You think he should use a gun now? Come on.
Oh, I mean, that is just absolute insanity coming through from Meg. Like I mentioned to you, I'd love to see the entire lobby try and use bows at least just once, right? To get an idea as to how impressive this is coming through from Megs. But either which way, I mean, Liquid's finding points, and as we know, they are in need of points. They need to try and secure whatever they can, and if they are able to secure more points than BTH, that is exactly the kind of pacing they need here.
Still plenty of time in this game. Nightmare in control of the decoding station and the mantle brick as of current. Again, funny enough, Nightmare, the one of very few teams that can actually catch Spacestation Gaming on our leaderboard and potentially take second place in the overall standings behind Evil Geniuses, and therefore go straight to the finals, skipping Survivor stages. So, yes, Spacestation Gaming is feeling great because they have the mantle brick, but giving it away for free to another team, especially a team close to them on the leaderboard, maybe not a mistake, but just something to take note of. Oh, Meg connects with the Viren ult. A knockdown on Boy and a couple magnetic bombs over the top. Doesn't quite go far enough. Oh my goodness. A big mistake on main. I guess it did go far enough when you walk up and stand on top of one. Boy gets cut down with a magnetic bomb. Mendo here to try to even the tally. Does have an arm in hand that they were able to take out of that second round. Got it in Brakkesh, left with it, and brought it into Space City. But Team Liquid have been put into a blender brutally by Liquids.
Yeah, I mean, that's not even an understatement here. As you can see, there is so much chaos happening here for both these teams. Let's take a quick look back at that Meg hit. Boy out in the open. Shabam! First one lands. 201 meter hit. Absolute insanity coming through. A 125 in the run-up. What?
Jadavi's on the run. Team Liquid and a deep and other blender. There's the full cleanup, but a chow! Jadavi's goes down. Liquid's down. Team Liquid down to 1, and Team Nadeshot out as well. All in rapid succession like dominoes. We're down to 4 teams. Team Liquid will get both of those reses. They're going to get back on their feet. 2 players having been to yellow. But even still, at least they can move this direction and maybe play for the brick. Spacestation Gaming, they heard my rallying cry. They said, you know what, Coach, you're right. We can't give anything away for free. We're here. Let's see what they're able to do without a Tempest.
Well, now comes the pressure. Now comes the plays. Let's see whether or not Nightmare will have it all day. SSG, though, really sending out the incendiaries, trying to make it as difficult as they possibly can.
20 seconds.
Just a few seconds left on the clock here. SSG going to try and steal it up, but so far it's looking pretty good defensively coming through from the side of Nightmare. It's all going to rely on what Lucas can do, as DW is tanking quite a few hits here.
A 1-for-1 trade, but Lucas is on the decoding station. A smart play. Lucas gets really aggressive, able to tag one up. He's just sticking to the decoding station. Killzall doesn't want to die. Spacestation Gaming forced off, and he dies anyways. A rare mistake from Spacestation Gaming. Nightmare get the brick as Lucas tries to salvage the bodies and stay alive for a moment. A great play from Nightmare. Farmer Lucas sticking the decoding station through the smoke. Killzall didn't see him, but also didn't feel confident enough to go for the steal. Nightmare grab another brick, and they're one step closer to going 3 match wins in a row. And we're going at least 1 more map.
Yes, sir. So you asked the question earlier, do I think SSG is going to get it? I said no, and this is why, right? Nightmare stepping up, knocking on some doors, making some demands. They want to stay in. They want to try and make a run for it. And essentially, the 2 teams in contention for second place now, having quite a bit of a go here at each other. But looking at the point situation as well, right? Nightmare not that far behind SSG. They literally need 2 kills to catch up to the position that Nightmare, that SSG rather, is in right now. But we still have quite a few teams left here. Team Liquid and BTH also in a position to make a little bit of something happen here. Mendo now patrolling with the AWM in hand. Bro is ready for the action.
I mean, here's the frustrating part for Team Liquid. Meg I mean, they ended up winning the fight against Liquids, but Meg put them in such a blender after 2 going down. You got to remember, Team Liquid, they brought in full gold, an and the Tempest. This is a ridiculous amount of investment on a map where they couldn't even look at the Mantle Brick, let alone just take a breather for a moment. So Team Liquid going to be frustrated. Solid score still, of course. But they're going to play for kills here. They have to. They need to get something out of this investment. And then I think hopefully for them, I know they're thinking about also extracting.
I think that's going to be prime position for them to try and go for here. Ooh, nice SV coming through in the loot there. But unfortunately, it's not going to be picked up. It will be left in its bag. Team Liquid, in the meantime, slowly and cautiously making their way around the southern side of the map here. Mendo, I think, just aching for some targets to hit. Right, just got an AWM at the ready. Looking to make the connections. The gold getting found. Oh, look at that.
Nice battle tank. 2.1 mil there for Mr. Farmer Lucas. Hey, listen. You already got the Mantle Brick. Let's just get some more nice, valuable loot. Why not? Lucas has made the call to just run around and loot up and potentially get out of this map rather than go back for his teammates and try to get these reses, which I think frankly is the right play. He's probably going to lose his life doing that. Maybe he could get a 1-for-1 trade. But watch out for Lucas. We'll see what he decides to do on the map, given the current situation and given the advantages they've already earned.
Ooh. Yeah, missed shot coming through there from Mendo. That is 100k flying right past the head of BTH. Very fortunate miss, but this could be a nice bit of a back and forth here. As you can see, either side just primed up, looking for a position to work through. I mean, this could be absolutely golden if BTH was able to get their hands on a Team Liquid's AWM. But of course, they would need to get that last few drops of ammo that we have. And BTH now just focused on getting themselves onto the latch, pull it down, and maybe that could allow them to successfully extract from here.
I have a feeling Lucas is probably going to try to sneak out of Black Chamber and work his way to Test Workshop to maybe get out of the map. It's probably what I would do if I was in his situation. Especially because he has some reds on him now and, again, brought in gold gear. So really would like to save that for another round. BTH, though, doing the same. So they just may pull these levers. Yeah, that's exactly what they're doing. BTH, I don't think they think they're last alive necessarily, but they want a way out. So they're going to open this up for Team Liquid. They're going to say, well, okay, thank you very much. Remember, Team Liquid is investing a ton, so they're going to play this extraction. They'll be first to the extraction. And I've got a feeling somebody in the comms from Team Liquid said, oh, cool, thank you guys. But we'll see if they're able to win the fight at the inevitable fight in about 3 minutes or so.
Yeah, a lot can change in that period of time. Lucas is going to hope that nothing changes because he wants to get out with all the value that he's been able to find so far. Mendo, though, is inching his way forward, trying to see if there's any potential angles that he could look to lock up here. And I think the big takeaway for either of these teams is, of course, just to make sure that they can get every little bit of value out of this. Because at the end of the day, it is still a race for the overall total score, right? Nightmare, of course, now exactly on par with SSG. Both teams sitting on 18 points either which way. So there's a big opportunity here for Lucas. If he can get out of this round successfully, that is really going to help them contest SSG to take the potential win for today.
Yeah, that's exactly right. There could potentially be tiebreakers that are important as well, right? Like, if Mantlebrook somehow end up being tied and we go all the way to Game 7, you need to be able to win to get those extra points. There's still an opportunity for Nightmare to pass Spacestation Gaming on the overall group stage leaderboards. There's tiebreakers there. Kills, squad points. Still a lot to play for here, even if it doesn't feel like it. So, all the team's going to play cautious, but all the team's going to go play for this extraction. So now if you're Farmer Lucas, you have a tough choice. You're in Black Chamber. You don't really feel like you can leave, probably, without selling your position. You still could go Test Workshop, but to do that, you're going to have to go right past this extraction point, and you know there's going to be teams there. So instead, probably the play is twofold. One, go for a couple kills sell your body for 800k plus if you can get a couple, and spoil a couple extractions, which is maybe worth you losing your life to make sure other people also go down, considering their position on the leaderboard. Secondly, you play to share the extraction. He's running Stinger, could smoke and run in. We know he's good at timing. Just try to sprint in at the last second. Won't be able to crawl because he's the only player left alive on his team, but if he can get there just in the right time and not go down in that transition, chance he could just share it and get out as well. So I'm expecting the latter from Lucas, but if the opportunity presents itself for a kill, I don't know if he has the trigger discipline for it or not. We'll see.
It's all just a matter of waiting. Good positioning, though. Absolutely on point. Mendo, though, quickly with the reposition. Oh, fires his final hit. Unfortunately, not going to be able to do too much with that. Now having to switch over to the ASVL to see can the value be squeezed out with that. Hotzik trying relentlessly to land the shots, but it's going to be a full send either which way. Team Liquid and BTH now primed and ready. Up comes the full set here from Mendo, but he's about to get backstabbed.
No.
Down he goes. Quick trade up here by Gar. But BTH now very battered. They could still be an opportunity for steal here from Team Liquid. Oh, Lucas.
Lucas says, trigger discipline is for the birds, but I've got a free kill on Team Liquid right in my sights. Boy down. And Mendo was on Tempest when he went down, so he's back up onto his feet. But of course, we're still playing for the extraction. 13 seconds on the extraction, 10 and counting. You got to make a move here, BTH. You got to get to the extraction point if you can. It may be shared. Mendo's on it. 2 seconds. No, you're too late, BTH. And you're going to go down. You won't be killed. You won't get fooled. So those won't get credited to Team Liquid. But BTH got concerned, confused, or just were taking their sweet time and are too late for the extraction. And now it is Farmer Lucas in a 1v2 against a beaten and battered BTH. And Lucas, I think, is staring at this dead body. He knows Toot's going to come back for it. He may get a freebie here in the last 56 seconds. And maybe actually with 56 seconds left, not going to come back for it. I looked at the game clock here, DK. Toot's going to take that extraction point. Nice job.
Yeah, there we go. Does seem like Toot is going to be able to get a little bit of value out of this round here. And I mean, as we know, it is going to be very, very important for BTH to secure as many points as they can, to be as high up on those rankings as they possibly can. And with the final few moments alive here, there's only so much one can do. Lucas, though, the last player standing in the round. And I don't think he knows that.
Well, he might, with game clock being what it may. He's just going to stack his safe box with anything he can get his hands on. 10 seconds. Toots out of the lobby. One of the few to make it out. Team Liquid getting both out, which, again, I keep saying this, but it's a really important note. Team Liquid brought in all golds. They get 2 players out. They will keep some of their golds. That's a big win for Team Liquid, considering everything they went through. But nice job there from Farmer Lucas to stay on the map, get an extra kill, and get some extra value for his team, even though they already got a ton of value. Deathwing, Farmer Lucas, equal plays. These guys have been deadly recently, and they find their way to another brick to put them right there up with SSG. It's going to be very close between the two in terms of total points, first or second, but still more to be played, more bricks to be found. We'll see who ends up potentially taking the win in the next map, or if we go a couple more.
Yes, sir. Got them all in the barrel. And speaking about the barrel, the one that was staring down it the most, at least with regards to those kills, is going to be the side here of Nightmare. 6 kills in the bag, nearly 1,400 damage, 1.1 million in assets. And on top of that, they get the decode as well. Beautiful mantle brick in the bag. Team Liquid coming in close behind them, though. 1.8 million in value, managing to squeeze 2 players out of this. And of course, still bagging up those 5 kills. So a very decent showing forward, but Team Nadeshot, the only team not being able to get any points here because, unfortunately for them, no kills went their way.
Yeah, and Team Nadeshot, they went for it, right? They went for broke. They went for the classic, grab the brick immediately and immediately plant it and hope nobody gets there in time. Unfortunately, that's not exactly what happened. So Team Nadeshot goes down early. Nightmare get control of the area, and Spacestation Gaming couldn't quite get in and take it away from them. So Nightmare get credit to the brick. We see a couple players stacking up the top of these leaderboards. Mindo is able to find a couple assists. BTH finding a couple with the kills that they were able to find. But Team Liquid did a decent job of preventing some loss of loot, but it was Nightmare as the top team. We do see two get out through Test Workshop, though. Nice wherewithal to recognize that. With enough game clock left to get out, 1.7 mil he's able to extract with, but equal plays is going to be your round 4 MVP.
Yeah, there we go. There we have it. Nightmare's equal plays bring it all to the forefront here, taking that MVP award with him indeed. But you know what, Goj? This is where things get interesting, because we're going to be seeing it very soon, where these teams essentially find themselves in a bit of an uncomfortable, and I'm sorry to say it, but it's going to come down to a lot of heat and a lot of spice. And yeah, there's 4 teams fighting for 2 very important things right here. So, woo, I cannot wait for the next round.
I can't wait for it either, because I actually have no idea what's about to happen. You've got to remember our group stage leaderboard. Spacestation Gaming is in 2nd place overall, and Nightmare's a team that could potentially catch them. But to do so, Spacestation Gaming can't get 2nd. I wonder if Nightmare is not going to play for this next brick. They need somebody else to try to pass Space Station, folks. I'm getting into some deep lore. I'm getting into some hypotheticals. We got to wait and find out, folks. Space Station maybe could win it here. Nightmare maybe could win it here, or we could go a little bit longer. You're not going to want to miss it.
Two members, now the odds are in their favor, 2v1. Everything getting spammed away, and MT getting a little... So hang on a second, NL! Look at that! It's an absolute sweat! This... And you just gotta know that they're here. Lines them up, even through the shot. You're nuts! For the last remaining 3 BOV, they find 2 instant knocks, and Elm's gonna be hopping off to that.
Got the Mandel bricks. Find and stop them. Mandel bricks decoded. Nice work, operator.
The time to strike is now. Do not let me down, operator.
Decoding has begun. Defend the area.
Is about to take the first brick of the tournament. And they're going to do it.
What goes around comes around.
Oh, not gonna do very much. Though. You get barrel stuff. Skydie is getting aggressive.
See what I did there? You ain't seen nothing yet.
Let's knock them off their feet.
There's so much damage in there, it is slow.
Welcome back to the Delta Force Rise series. We got a lot going on here, okay? We just wrapped up what was a riveting Space City map. It's one of my favorite maps for good reason. It was a great Mantle Brick round, and Nightmare just picked up the brick, able to stop everybody else from stealing it away from them and taking it right out of the hands of Team Nadeshot. So with that in mind, there's a lot of considerations on this leaderboard, and I think Nightmare is doing some of that math right now. Spacestation Gaming and Nightmare both with a brick, but Spacestation Gaming a little ways ahead of them on a group stage leaderboards. They probably need another team to get some extra points and potentially pass Space Station Gaming today, so that maybe they still have a chance to get second place overall. But we'll leave all the hypotheticals to later. We'll figure it out as we go. We'll see what the teams decide to do, and who knows, maybe they'll just all play for the win. And I certainly still think Space Station Gaming could get the win here. Let's take a look at the overall leaderboard. We knew it was going to be close at the top, and it's within 1 point. Team Liquid with the most squad points, but of course 2 teams with bricks.
Yep, and that is going to be quite a sweaty day. But of course, we are heading into our second space city. This is where we could see a bit of a change. Maybe Team Liquid, BTH, Liquids, or even Team Nadeshot looking to get their hands on that Mandel brick. Whichever way it happens, I think Space Station is just going to try and deny bricks if they cannot get their hands on that brick themselves.
Yeah, it's definitely possible. I'm sure they're thinking a lot like us and figuring out those points, and I'm just excited to see what the gameplay will look like moving into the next round, because they also need to be aware that if they're giving away a brick for free, they got to really make sure it's not Space Station Gaming or all that plan goes out the window. So fun look here, of course, spawns, and then operators, the most important piece of the puzzle, because we now know Space Station Gaming, Liquids both did not use a Tempest in the last round, and therefore will be using a Tempest in the next 2, both banking on the fact that we're not going to end in 5, we're going to end in 6, and therefore they will have an advantage. Here's our classic operator comp, and it's up to 52 now, which is a ridiculous number. Only 13% extraction rate, but that's because people like to stay on the map and go for those bricks, and everybody uses them, and not everybody can survive. You all know how math works. Tempest, the most popular operator for good reason, but Luna nearly the same because of how much value Luna brings in some of these engagements on Space City as well.
Yep, it's going to be an interesting one indeed, as we will be moving up. Of course, we know it's not going to be Team Nadeshot or Nightmare getting their hands on that T1 spawn, so it could swing to anybody else at this point. But based on what we've seen so far, right, the teams getting their T1 spawns, at least in the previous Space City, had pretty good success when it came to getting that Mandel brick to count in their favor. So it's all going to be down to who gets there first and who holds out the longest.
Well, here we go. A lot of hypotheticals, but you know what's not a hypothetical is that Season 2 is coming soon. Registration opens on August 10th, folks. Go get involved in the Delta Force Rise series. This could be you on main stage. I could be casting over you with DK right now, trying to get your first Mandel brick, or maybe your last. Fun stuff happening in Season 2. You're not going to want to miss it, but let's get into Space City. Round 5 as we wrap up our group stages. Will it end here, or will we go at least another game?
Well, one of the teams that are in dire need of a Mandel brick is going to be blessed with a position here of T1 spawn. As you can see, SSG, the first one to push through that west gate. Nightmare trying everything they can to stop them, but unfortunately, it's not working out for Nightmare just yet. Meanwhile, Full Send is heading forward. BTH though coming through that employee passage number 2 as they start to make their way in. Team Liquid about to run into BTH, so there could be a sweaty engagement right off the bat.
Oh no, Mendo, my goat, gets cut down by an NPC after taking a bunch of damage. That soldier goes crazy, but too easy, actually catches the wrong end of Boy's gun. So a lot of exchanging of blows, and a quick look at the map feed told a decent bit of the story, but it is non-stop action. Folks not playing slow this time around, and Team Nadeshot desperately need to put some points on the board, and they're trying to do that going through Team Liquids, or Liquids themselves, and Liquids are fully eliminated. Team Liquid down to a duo because of the NPC. Liquids out. Team Nadeshot, they do strike first. Let's see if they can keep up that pace.
Well, this is good basic coming through here for Nadeshot. I mean, this is exactly the kind of boost they need to get to that momentum. But of course, it is now down to a waiting game to see who's going to be the first one to venture out and try to get their hands on that Mandel brick. Nobody really being all too close to it. Space Station, though, right here on the edges. As you can see up on that mini-map, just trying to kind of figure out if it's going to be worth the risk to push on forward. And I mean, Killzall just weighing up the options. Now it's going to be the rest of the lobby looking to move into position. Up comes Toot. Ooh, pops a few shots across the way. Killzall quickly dropping down. But you got to watch out that you don't waste that ult moving in for the Mandel break.
Yeah, quick hits here. Killzall is going to pop ult and go for the Mandel brick with gold armor. Space Station Gaming taking no chances. Tempest invested, of course, because they had it. They saved it. all gold everything for Space Station Gaming. They've got a nice advantage, and they're going to start this decoding station at the tried and true classic. Other quick notes, look at Nightmare. They're expecting this to go to another map. They want this to go to another map. They are not investing their Tempest here on round 5. I think they know the same plan, the same strategy of trying to take down Space Station Gaming that we do. So big hits there on the operator comps. Team Nadeshot the same. They're thinking we need to save Tempest for round 6. It's going to go another. So we'll see what these two teams can do without a Tempest, while Space Station Gaming currently has control of the brick at the decoding station. Who knows it's them? And if you do, you better start moving, because this game will be over if somebody doesn't do something about it.
Yeah, so a lot of pressure riding on everybody's shoulders at this point. They're going to have to do whatever it is that they can think of to secure their outcomes here. But for the time being, we do find ourselves in a bit of a standoff here. SSG, decent position, good possession as well coming through here for them. Let's see if anybody else is going to try and step it up. But a quick look back at what Chris did here. Quite a few shots just flying in, and unfortunately for him, though, quickly getting put right on down. I like the reactiveness that we see from the teams here.
Yeah, I mean, Team Nadeshot just put down all of Liquid's there, so it's a good look back on what this team's capable of. But they still have to get really active. I like the wager that they did of saving their Tempest for the next round. It's going to give them a big opportunity to potentially grab that next brick, but they've got to get a piece of this puzzle. They've got to get over here and get into this party to make things difficult for Space Station Gaming. Nobody knows. They took that out a while ago. There's not like some big beep that goes off, a big opportunity to say, hey, guess what? It's Space Station Gaming decoding. And what we do see in the kill feed is that Team Liquid's Hotzik does get cut down, and that is not a Tempest. So Team Liquid down a player. Player gets fooled as well. And unfortunately, Boy falls as well up on height. Space Station Gaming getting really aggressive to try to wipe Team Liquid, but Mindo is able to knock kills all back. Who popped ult. He'll be able to self-revive back up. Mindo holding his own for now.
Oh, while this is happening, we still see that brick getting closer and closer to being decoded, but SSG now down to a solo. So much pressure is being applied onto them. Team Liquid absolutely on the money. Good angles, good showing of aggression. Smell gonna try and creep up the side here, gets the night as Sky spots him out. And again, it is going to be possessional fighting coming through for ramp itself. Crisps slept, also inching their way on forward. Not getting an exact position on it just yet, but they are able to rescue their teammate. The smoke coming in clutch, but Sky's capitalizing on that opportunity and quickly falling back into safety.
Oh,
Ooh.
Great shots. Skies is shooting nukes right now. Nightmare going to double chow this likely if they have an understanding that this is Skies, which I'm not sure they 100% do. Toxic Ult's going to pop, and they're going to full send it. Great timing from Nightmare. A perfect call, likely from their IGL. Lucas with the shots over the board as well. Space Station Gaming will not close out the match here. They get swarmed by too many. Nightmare push at the perfect time. They hear the shots up ahead, up above. SSG get really aggressive trying to take down Team Liquid, and it ends up biting them in the butt because Nightmare hear the shots and they're able to third party it. Great play from Nightmare. And you can see Nightmare has not gone for the steal. They are inside Centrifuge. They know what's going on, and unfortunately for Team Nadeshot, they can't quite figure out where everybody's at because BTH is now in the back. Chris in deep trouble, rushing through the smoke to try to stay alive. As Smile, unfortunately, is full out. Team Nadeshot in a deep blender. It's going to come down to Slept. He's able to get one, but he's going to have to get three. And right now, it's not looking like that's going to happen, as one is extremely close. Down goes Team Nadeshot yet again. Even though they got a team wipe, they get wiped themselves. It's Team Liquid, or it's BTH, going to be going for this brick. Look at what Nightmare's doing. Just sitting in Centrifuge, waiting for somebody to take it.
Yeah, they are just casually sitting back and relaxing. It does seem like they want to try and play the long game here. And I mean, great opportunity for Team Liquid or BTH to get their hands on it. I think for BTH, it is going to be of the utmost importance to try and be the team that secures the Mandel brick here. Because remember, they are still playing for points. They are playing to get themselves out of the cut down, right? They want to stay in the round. They want to stay in the next phase. And the only way to do that is to have sufficient points to make sure that they can catch up to where MW ended up yesterday. And with this kind of pacing, this could set them up beautifully for that.
Look at this play from Mendo. This was such a big move. Just fully aggressive. Tempest ult popped. And you actually saw Toot with great trigger discipline as well to not shoot Mendo and give away his position. Unfortunately, his position's now given away, but he knew that if he knocked Mendo, he was on ult. He was just going to go back and heal up, and Toot would have no advantage. So saves his bullets, but catches the wrong end of some shots from the deep side here. Hodsix shooting over the bow. And Team Liquid and BTH content on fighting each other and not playing for the brick, which means Nightmare will sit in place and wait. And we will stick with this fight.
I mean, this is a pretty good play going through for either which side. Team Liquid, though, I mean, if they get this brick in hand, that is going to be the golden play for them, as they would be sitting atop the board at 29 points already secured. BTH now down to a solo. The last member getting absolutely battered. As you can see, Mendar and the rest of the team just absolutely relentless, just doubling down on the aggression, but it's going to be Lord trying to put a whole lot of distance between him and that hunt now for him to maybe get taken out of this lobby. But again, Team Liquid, beautiful setup here. After a while, if they don't find Lord Jaco, they could definitely look to turn around and go back to that mantle brick.
Yeah, they could. I'm starting to get a feeling that Team Liquid want their kills. $50 a kill. That's some nice incentives to go for kills rather than the brick when you're in a position on our group stage leaderboard where you can't really get knocked out of mid-pack. You're assuredly going to be playing in both days, Friday, Saturday. And the only way for you to get second would be to double brick, get 10 points, in Spacestation Gaming to somehow get 2 points. Very unlikely with Spacestation Gaming with the brick. So Team Liquid, they're hunting for kills. They may take the brick eventually, which it may look like they are doing now, thinking they may be the last team on the board, but they were much more interested in going for those kills, which, hey, I respect it. Now they've got it.
Well, I mean, the only way for Spacestation to get 2 points is if they sit where Liquids are right now. That's the only way it's going to happen. And so in order for that to happen, Team Liquid and BTH both need to get their hands on a brick as well. So, yeah, there's still a lot that could theoretically happen over here. So let's see if that is going to be the play. But, I mean, if you were SSG the next round, you're going to have to come back with an absolute vengeance if you want to secure that second place finish.
Here's the weird part. Team Liquid are going to full send a death ball through Nightmare. Nightmare see bodies, and they shoot back. That is a
in
fight.
One scrim versus them. We had the brick.
Let's listen in.
By the way.
What?
Okay, but let's hold the BTH bodies. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm trying to grab.
I shipped one. I couldn't grab the SKS off one guy.
The other guy.
It's fine. Just don't let this guy res because we want to play for extract here.
A good call. I wish I would have caught just a bit before what they were talking about with Nightmare, saying they've seen that plan before. But it's a weird one because if Nightmare, well, let's take a look back on it. It's a big fight here. Everybody shooting their guns, everybody playing for the win. But it is Team Liquid that are able to win this engagement. Full send, full tilt, joystick forward, if you will, pedal to the metal. You all know the idioms. Team Liquid. They're going to get this brick assuredly, and they have the most total score, so they will be at the top of our leaderboard. There's no question about it.
Well, I mean, 35 points is going to make it quite challenging for anybody to catch up to them. So I think the only way to beat Team Liquid after this is going to have to be a double break by somebody else, right? If they want to steal the show here. And of course, one team, as we've already discussed, is going to be in dire need of that double break. In fact, two teams, Nightmare and SSG, right? This is all going to come down to possession and position here. See where they'll end up come the final round of the day. And by the look of it, we are definitely going into round 6. We'll see what the lobby decides once we make our way into there.
And they're just going to copy the metal brick to get some extra cash. Codes don't do much. BTH, not interested in trying to 1v3, is just going to get out via Test Workshop and save some of that loot. Fair enough, my friend. Points are valuable. You got to remember, BTH on a group stage leaderboard, they don't need a win to pass the team ahead of them. Liquids is only at 3 points. They're at 2 points. MW, who's holding the line on potentially being able to play next weekend, is only at 6 points. So BTH need to pick up 4 points today and win the tiebreaker, or 5 points today to pass MW and therefore be able to play next weekend.
I mean, some pretty high stakes, right? Quite a bit of pressure and a whole lot of math, right? So if anybody ever told you that math is not worth it, it is. You're gonna use it a lot, and sometimes you get some really smart people that know numbers exceptionally well. Speaking of Team Liquid, just getting themselves prepped up and primed and ready to go, as they now have the mantle brick under their control, getting that next phase unlocked. They got about 4 minutes, and they just barely managed to get that extraction activated.
Get the extraction. Yeah, got about 30, 45 seconds or so spread between the two, so all good there. And now they're gonna roll around the map and see what loot they can find. Get out, get the brick, get some kills. Team Liquid, a banger map.
Definitely been a very exciting one. A whole bunch of different tactics being utilized by our squads here, trying to get themselves into a slightly more favorable position. But as we know, at the end of the day, all will be revealed, and we'll see exactly how much these teams have been able to accomplish. Decent loot stage coming through here now, as everybody's just going to make sure that they can get their hands on every little bit of value before stepping out. So far for Team Liquid, they are all the way up to 5.4 million. Just need a little bit more to hit that 6 million mark. That is going to buy them additional points as well. Currently sitting on 38 in total so far if they were to leave right this minute. So a very decent shopping session here for Team Liquid.
Yeah, I mean, Team Liquid dropped a banger map, and like we said, especially getting out of the map. Let's take a look back on some of the engagements here, and this is where Mendo started his reign of terror on this map. Able to find one, finds the second. Show me the third. No, we know Lord Jocko is going to get out of the map, but two certainly frustrated about that one. Some missed comms, and then they just deathball right through. They get the early knock. They got more guns. They got more ammo. You all know the drill. Once you get the first engagement, they come swinging in and catch Nightmare, potentially by surprise. A nice play to get the brick and clean everybody else up. That is a crazy amount of points. Now, this is a weird, interesting thing that we'll talk about for about 2 minutes here. I know chat's already been lit up about it for a while. There is, of course, a stream delay for competitive integrity, so, you know, do your thing over there. But just so everybody's on the same page, it's an interesting play because Nightmare can't take the brick. If they take the brick, you know, and they win with that brick, they will not pass Spacestation Gaming. And there's really no reward for getting third rather than fourth, for instance, right? You're trying to get top 2. So they can't take the brick. They just got to prevent Spacestation Gaming from not getting it, and that's exactly what they do. But also, Team Liquid getting this brick and getting a ridiculous amount of score, also not ideal for them. And ultimately, they need to double brick regardless. So, you know, neither here nor there to some degree. But at the same time, Team Liquid having a brick, both Nightmare and Team Liquid both need to win. They need 10 points. And they need Spacestation Gaming to get very few. So now it's this weird cat and mouse game where Team Liquid really doesn't want to get the next brick yet. They need another team to get a brick to push Spacestation Gaming further down. Nightmare the same. But if somebody's decoding a brick, they need to prevent it from being decoded if they figure out who it is. This is going to be a weird one, folks. Just buckle up for what's happening next. We'll let the players all figure it out, but just for the way the math works and the way our group stage leaderboard's at, this may get a little weird in the last 2 maps.
Yep. I'm expecting it to get quite a bit weird, seeing that the math is becoming increasingly more challenging to kind of, you know, get a good wrap on, because there's just so much that we need to see happen, what the team's priority is, right? So, very difficult decisions yet to be made, but we are going to be looking at the final few moments there as we do see the final extraction secured. That is going to be Team Liquid out with almost 10 million in profits secured in this round alone. Absolute insanity. What a loot session that was.
You can see Mendo aggressively talking to his team about plans for the future, the current state of the game. Here's the good news. If you're a Spacestation Gaming fan, things are quite easy. Just go get your win and win your ones. If Spacestation Gaming are able to get a brick here and win it, they of course will secure second place overall in the group stages, no questions asked. But Team Liquid are going to have something to say about that. 6 kills on the map with a full extraction and looted of bodies. 10 million in assets they're able to take out, and the mantle brick. A big game for Team Liquid.
Yeah, and that is going to help them quite a bit with feeling super confident coming into the next round itself. 6 kills in the bag. Team Nadeshot sitting on 3, Nightmare on 3, BTH on 3 as well. But the only team not walking away with any kills in this round or any value is going to be Liquids, as they were wiped out very early on by Team Nadeshot. So quite a bit of an upset being played towards them there. But BTH, I think they're quite happy with the outcome here. And let's see how this now all trickles down as we move into our top killers. Mendo coming through, sitting with a very comfortable 3 under his name. Lucas and Hotsick also coming in hot with 2 apiece. But Mendo has 800 damage on the dot. So a very, very strong finish coming through from them. Killzol and Equal also poking and prodding at a few of the opponents there. Equal again on the top of the board here with the assist as well.
Yep, a great job there of getting a couple assists back and forth, but we all knew what this was going to say. Top assets, it's going to be all Team Liquid, and they've got plenty of assets between the 3 of them, nearly perfectly split for a total of 10 million. Nice job there. Mendo does find his way to round MVP here in round 5. 3 kills, plenty of damage and assists, and a couple mils. So great job there for Mendo and Team Liquid again, picking up the biggest map of the day, biggest map of the round certainly, and one of the biggest maps of the day with the mantle brick in tow. So Team Liquid joined the ranks of Spacestation Gaming and Nightmare at the top of the leaderboard. Mathematicians out there in our group stage leaderboard are going to get they're going to be crunching the numbers. I'll say that, okay? But here in the match, it's quite easy to follow. 3 teams with a brick, 3 teams without. A 50-50 coin flip on whether or not we're going to play just 1 more game or maybe 2. Folks, you're not going to want to miss it. It's going to get weird. It's going to get wacky, and it's going to be a ton of fun. Potentially the last map of the group stages here at the Americas region. We'll be right back in just a moment.
Two members, now the odds are in their favor, 2v1. Everything getting spammed away, and MT getting a little... So hang on a second, NL! Look at that! It's an absolute sweat! This... And LG's got him, though. They're here. Lines them up, even through the shot. You're nuts! For the last remaining 3 BOV, they find 2 instant knocks. The Helm's gonna be hopping off that.
Get the brick at all costs. Got the mantle bricks. Find and stop them. Mantle bricks decoded. Nice work, operator.
The time to strike is now. Do not let me down, operator.
Decoding has begun. Defend the area.
goes around, comes around.
Not gonna do very much. Don't you get barrel stuff. Skydie is getting aggressive.
See what I did there? You ain't seen nothing yet.
Let's knock them off their feet.
There we go. Much damage, and there it is.
Welcome back, Delta Force Rise series. We just wrapped up map 5 here on Space City. It's America's, and this region is wild. Our group stage leaderboard is extremely tight, and it's giving room for some interesting plays where some teams don't quite want to close out this match yet. We want to spread it out a little bit longer and see if a couple teams will fall from the top of that leaderboard a little bit more. But Team Liquid find their way to the top of the leaderboard by a giant margin here. DK at 39 total squad points, nearly double anybody else.
Yep, I mean, that is going to bode quite well for them, especially seeing that they have double the kills of the team right behind them. But for SSG, this next round is going to be important, right? If they want to secure and lock their place in, they're going to have to double brick. If not, any of the other teams could look to change that up. But we've got so many different dynamics coming in with regards to scores as to who could be making it into Friday's play and who is going to be, or could potentially be, the team having to look on from the outside. So yeah, a lot of complicated math needs to be done here. Unfortunately, we don't have to do the math.
Yeah, that's exactly right. For right now, it's a 50-50 chance we're playing 2 or 1 more maps. Spacestation Gaming try to close things out as soon as possible. We'll see what they're able to do, but as we look forward in the next 2 maps, or potentially the next 1, reminder, this is map 6. So with that in mind, our operator pool is going to shrink dramatically. This is the last time that the operator pool will be brought down to the bare minimum, or at least it feels that way. Only a couple teams have left a Tempest for this last round, and I think that'll be a big boon in a wild and wacky Space City map.
Well, here we go, right? It is going to be a very, very interesting one, especially to see what that final choice is going to be. But for the last time here in group stage, the teams need to make the decision as to who they want to play. And as we can see, quite a few Tempests have been burnt, and quite a few selectors across the board in general have already been used up. So it's all going to come down to what they can make happen with the limited options they have available to themselves here.
Yeah, a couple teams, 4 teams to be certain, know that this is going to be a long day. And so they save their Tempest for this moment to find that advantage and be able to utilize it here. We keep ticking up with the same operator comp because it is the meta, but this time teams have probably used most of these, so you probably won't see everybody running Tempest and Luna and Stinger all together, but some combination of 2 or 3 of those together, and then maybe a Luru or one of their other favorite operators that they could use on the map to replace one that is already gone. Let's talk spawns really quick. We know tier 1 spawns are nice. You can get to the middle of the map very quickly. I would also argue that the tier 2 spawn up at Central Command Building is one of the best. You can get down just as fast as the other tier 1 spawns, as you're just kind of out in the open while you do that. If anybody wants to turn towards Central Command, those are the 3 spawns I'm looking at if I want a brick and I want it quickly. And to take control of the first mantle brick and the first spawn means you get to choose where it gets decoded. It could play towards your playstyle, your operator comp, whatever you've got. Folks, are you loving the action? Are you loving the tension? I can cut the tension with a knife in the air. It's your time to get involved in Season 2. Registration opens on August 10th. Make sure you drop a follow on all major socials to stay up to date so you don't miss your chance to compete in the brand new season of the Delta Force Rise series. Wrapping up the group stages here right now. The last show before we get into Championship Sunday, and of course our Survivor stages on Friday and Saturday next weekend. Season 1 almost done, Season 2 right around the corner, all wrapping up by the end of the year. Gonna be a ton of fun, but I'm excited about more Space City. DK, let's see what happens.
Yep, here we go. It is going to be a full send coming in across the board. Team Nadeshot and Liquids having a go at those T1 spawns. You can see Team Liquid, though, trying to pressure Liquids as they are trying to push through that west gate. Will they be allowed entry, or will they get denied? Meanwhile, BTH trying everything they can, rushing across the way, but they are getting absolutely battered and bruised by the side of Team Liquid.
Battered and bruised is right. Now, at least I'm glad I made the clarifying statement and didn't just hype up this spawn, right? I was hyping it up and I was saying, but if you get shot at, well, there's a problem. Well, hey, there you go. BTH gets battered, bruised, and obliterated as Killzall comes in. And Lord Jakao is just trying to run away at this point and get out of the line of sight between two different teams. That bridge can be deadly as well. And of course, we have to pay attention to BTH because they're on a totally different bubble than what we've been talking about. They're on the bottom side bubble. They're trying to make it to next week. Bottom two teams on our group stages get eliminated. And BTH currently could be one of those. So Lord Jacko as a solo in map 6 is bad news. And Killzall is just going to jump up on the wall and unfortunately send him straight back to the lobby. BTH first out.
Yeah, down they go. Not the worst position for them to be in, but they're going to have to hope that there is another round for them, right? If they want to have that run, that push on up, they're going to have to try and climb quite a bit more. In the meantime, though, we are waiting to see who's going to be the first team to pick up the brick. The brick just sitting there looking pretty while the teams are staring at each other. You can see Hotzig trying to see if he can spot out that play. Sky's just keeping the position pretty tight on the bridge. But Team Liquid not going to overcommit to that just yet. Meanwhile, it is going to be Meg going for that first hand. Unfortunately, getting denied as Nightmare comes sneaking on through.
Yeah, nice job there from Smile to also prevent equal. Oftentimes, when a player is able to prevent the first player to the brick, they usually grab it on the second chance. And so Smile helps out. Equal Plays takes one member of Liquid's down and puts them on a reset. And then Smile does a lot of the same. The teams that didn't have a Tempest were just BTH and Team Liquid. BTH now out of this lobby, so 4 out of 5 of our teams still have that Tempest. We'll be waiting for some of those cooldowns here before going for that brick again. As Spacestation Gaming are going to slow roll into this as well.
Oh, sometimes slow is all you need. But you can't afford too much of a slow pace. For the time being, nobody having had the opportunity to pick up the brick just yet. A lot of players coming real close to that. But one team paying the ultimate price as they got swept on out of here. J-Device also trying to kind of find the approach. A lot of peeking, a lot of sneaking. But one team will have to lay their hands on that brick and get the ball rolling. I mean, Team Nadeshot or Liquids could both benefit from getting their hands on a Mandel brick at this point. Team Liquid, SSG, and of course Nightmare are going to try and deny all of those bricks being picked up and decoded if it's not them getting the job done here. But Team Liquid, though, up to 41 points. Again, putting on quite a phenomenal score.
Yeah, 100%. And the score is important for tiebreakers as well, potentially on our group stage leaderboard, depending how many times you tie. Like, there's so much to talk about. But for now, let's focus in on this match. Teams being a bit more timid to play for this brick after a couple people get denied. Things we do know, Spacestation Gaming desperately want this brick and desperately want to close things out right here, right now. Don't leave anything up to chance. Liquids and BTH would have liked the same. Unfortunately, BTH is in the lobby, so... And Team Nadeshot even in a potential position where they'd like to move up this leaderboard. If they score 0 points and a couple things go differently, they're going to stay in that 9th, 10th position and have to skip Friday, therefore having one less chance to make it to the finals. Every team has something on the line right now. I told you today was going to be a wild one, and keep using that term because it's just playing a bit different than other matches for that very reason. Everybody has a burden of responsibility. Everybody has something to play for right now, and they all have different win conditions.
Nice hits coming through here from Hotzig. Trying to apply a little bit of pressure there onto Team Nadeshot as Smile is really close to that Mandel brick. In fact, he's probably the closest player that we have all across the board here. But with just over 5 minutes already ticking down, something needs to happen very soon. It'd be very odd if we get a no brick round, right? We've only seen that happen once or twice. throughout the entirety of the Rise series. For that to happen on the very last day, that is going to be a wild one. But let's see how this one goes. As SSG, though, slowly tries to improve their overall positioning, going for a little bit of loot while waiting to see what happens to that mantle brick.
I'm going to be honest. If we somehow get a no brick round, that's going to make that math even more complicated. Because then you start thinking about people winning without double bricks, which means you could get 9 points, for instance. Whew, okay. And of course, we have to talk about tiebreakers if they come up. Alrighty, folks. I'm loving the action. Or the potential for the action. We know J-Devise and Liquids desperately want this brick in Spacestation Gaming. Those are probably the two teams that'll move first. Potentially Team Nadeshot. For now, you can see them off in the distance. Nightmare is just lying in wait. They're playing over at Test Workshop. They're playing bridge area over by the extraction. And they're just going to stay patient over there. There's no reason to get really aggressive right now. We know their WinCon, Team Liquid doing a lot of the same. They're on the north side of the map. They're at Central Command. So the two teams that can't close it out here, because they know Spacestation Gaming will earn enough points to get second place overall and therefore make it straight to that finals day on Sunday, are holding the north and south side of the map. Everybody that wants the brick and needs the brick is in Central. This is a 4-team battle for now.
It almost feels like you need to be a mathematician to understand what's happening right here. But it is going to be Meg, the first one to pick up the brick. And here we go. The party has started. Let's see who's going to be the one to walk away with it, though. Who's going to be smiling come end of this round. Liquids, though, they could really benefit off of getting one of these Vandal bricks secured for themselves. Let's see. Because, as we know, right, they are still in contention with BTH, playing for a seat in the survival stage itself. But there we go, brick is down. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, some big moments here. You got to remember, the players do not have the info we have. Everybody knows the metal brick was just put into the decoding station. So unless you knock somebody or you recognize which team it is on the other side, you don't know who has started this decoding station. So if I'm Nightmare, I see them already beginning to rotate from bridge because, well, the decoding station started. They may have a guess where people could spawn, but they're not going to know for certain. And so with that, they see a Tempest ult likely grab that brick because it went soaring back to where it came from. It's going to move quick on the minimap. If they recognize that, they know it's got to be a team that is using a Tempest. Unfortunately, most are, Space Station included. They know for a fact, if they were paying attention, which these players are very good, that it's not Team Liquid. That's probably the only information they know right now. But we're not watching them the entire time. We'll see what Nightmare decides to do. They'd like to come get some info, maybe knock a player to figure that out.
A lot of scanning coming in across the way currently as teams realizing just how difficult and complicated everything has become all of a sudden, as Team Liquid now slowly advancing as they come through Central Bridge, moving a little bit closer to that central point of contention. Nightmare in the meantime just trying to keep their distance as they're waiting on that far southwestern side. Not really looking to do all too much just yet. SSG though, they're going to try and creep their way up as they come in right alongside where the brick is. It is going to be Team Nadeshot though right on it as Slep just trying to gatekeep it. As he steps up, steals it away. First break, steal change over coming in. SSG, though, could look to play the upset here and find a few cheeky plays. But again, everybody who needs points, as you've said, is right there on the brick.
That's exactly right. It looks like, yep, Team Liquid making a move. Same conversation. They don't know who has the brick. They've got to at least get part of this party and try to get some intel. Could be able to potentially pick up from operators. Definitely could pick it up and know for certain if they get a knock. Also, these players have played a ridiculous amount of scrims. You could even probably pick it up just from playstyles, but here goes Liquids. We know Meg and the crew need it. They're going to grab it now, utilizing their Tempest ult. Back to Centrifuge they go. They're content with stealing it, resetting it, and playing for that for a while Killzall stares on from the ultimate high ground, getting all the intel that he needs to then make a move when he feels like it's necessary.
At the end of the day, it just basically comes down to a big old waiting game, right? This is what the teams are trying to do, trying to get that timing down to perfection. In the meanwhile, on the opposing side,
oh my goodness, Team Liquid fully eliminated DK. They came to check, and Team Nadeshot said, "See ya, go back to the lobby."
Yeah, that's part of the aggression, right? That is part of the job. They got to push on forward, but now it's going to be Nightmare looking to step up for a bit of a steal here as Equal comes in. Ooh, double break potential coming in hot.
Nightmare have started it. Oh, this is such a weird position. As of current, if Nightmare get this brick, Team Liquid gets second, Spacestation Gaming at third. I'm gonna do some quick maths on the side here. I've seen chat go back and forth, and I think most people in chat now understand the stakes. If Nightmare get this brick, they will get 10 points. They will move up to 38. If the standings stay where they are, let's do a quick replay back at Team Nadeshot and what they were able to accomplish against Team Liquid, who are coming up to check and see who it was. They see it right as they die. Team Liquid fully eliminated. But if the standings stay, Spacestation Gaming will get 5 points. It'll be 38 to 38. It's going to come down to tiebreakers. Spacestation Gaming not going to leave it up to chance. Going to go for the steal. And unfortunately gets disarmed and runs out of timer. The ult is gone and on to cooldown. A perfect disarm at the right time at the end of the ult timer. He had to take the zip back or he was going to die at the decoding station most likely. Wow, what a moment. Now Team Nadeshot's chance.
Well, Slip getting close to it. Oh, that nade comes close, but not fast enough as Team Nadeshot now tries to steal it back yet again. And I mean, again, as I've said before, Team Nadeshot and Liquids, both of these two teams could benefit off of getting their hands on that Mandel brick as well, walking away with the decode. That is going to help Liquids really solidify their contention to try and catch up with MW, but they're going to have to place much, much further up the overall positioning here on today's leaderboard if that is going to be a thing for them. SSG, though, also keeping themselves very much removed from the engagements here, just waiting quietly on the edge. So you can see Crisp is really close to Gilzol. One false move could spell a little bit of a troubling position then for Team Nadeshot.
Nightmare feel confident in the play. They've got to go for the brick, and they do. We've reset it to 90 seconds. It won't reset any more than that. That's our minimum timer, but there's 4 minutes on the clock, and Meg hits a shot on Equal Plays. The bow comes through, and Equal Plays is crawling. Quick math for you folks, as Meg is actually making a play with Tempest to go for the steal. Let's see if it connects first. It will reset to 90 seconds. Lucas trying to hold them off, but Liquids still get it. 90 seconds on the clock, but Liquids in charge as of current. They're going to go for the res first and then go for the play. But Team Nadeshot going to go for their own steal. They want a piece of the action. They know they need the points. Team Nadeshot now in charge. This brick is going to exchange so many hands. It's going to be dirty by the end of this one. Quick math for the people at home. It will be tied mantle bricks, tied points. Squad point difference going into this one as Killzall finds a kill on Team Nadeshot. The squad point difference between these two teams, Nightmare and Spacestation Gaming, is only 8. The elimination difference is only 3, folks. This is going to come down to tiebreakers if Nightmare can close it out, but Team Nadeshot are in charge. They're winning the engagement, but they go down. Liquid's the one to play spoiler. Team Nadeshot fully eliminated. Only 3 teams left, and Liquids aren't done. They're looking for more. The timer's paused. Somebody's got to get the brick, and Nightmare's just going to wipe everybody. All of these kills, and now what? A 2v3. Equal Plays behind, and Spacestation Gaming has stayed patient. All the tiebreaker math, all the odd points, all the mathematician talk. It may not matter. One of the teams will win right here. One of the teams will close us out in 6. We will not be playing map 7 unless this brick doesn't get captured. And that is still definitely possible.
I mean, SSG, they know that they have to win this one, right? If they want to lock in second place, they have to get the brick. They have no other choice. Even if Nightmare gets it, SSG still wins, right? There is quite a lot on the table here, so yeah, SSG just needs to make sure that some way, somehow, they get a little bit of magic happening here, especially if they can the entirety of Nightmare. That would just drive the point home even more so.
Here we go. 90 seconds on the clock. Pay attention to the game clock. If this brick doesn't get captured, we still have a match on our hands. If Nightmare captured, it will come down to tiebreakers. If Spacestation Gaming capture, they will assuredly get second place and win the match. This is for all the marbles. They cannot let a steal goes off, and Skies connects first, and they get the full DWs out. It's a 2v3. Nightmare in a blender through the smoke. They know they need to go for a steal, but Farmer Lucas causing a bit of trouble. He can go for it. He's gonna stick it. Skies has gotta stick him. He's gotta barrel stuff him. Gotta go for the kill. Farmer Lucas wins it. He's on it. He's going for the steal, but the disarm comes through and he gets knocked. It's a 2v1. It comes down to equal plays. Farmer Lucas almost pulled off the impossible. And equal plays has to be the hero that he's been for the last 2 weeks. A 1v2 for all the marbles. One goes down. The second cleaned up. Can he get the third? No! Spacestation Gaming!
Oh, fuck yes, dude.
Oh my god. Good shit kills all.
That was so bad. Let's go, baby! I don't care!
Let's go. Whoever killed the guy on brick, thank you, you're my goat.
That was easy. Let's go, baby!
Let's go!
Wow.
The adrenaline, absolutely insane. The tension, palpable. It is so crazy, but big celebrations coming through from SSG. They did what they needed to do. They got their hands on that brick. They were able to defend it, and with that, we now know who's going to be going into the finals, joining the Evil Geniuses.
Space Station Gaming have done it. What a match. No math to be had. It doesn't matter now. For the top side of the group stages, Space Station Gaming have just booked a ticket straight to Championship Sunday. They will automatically at least get top 6. And for the likes of Nightmare, for the likes of Team Liquid, you have not seen the end of them yet, but they're gonna have to battle through the Survivor stages. Friday and Saturday, you will see both of them. The only question mark that is still up in the air, because I'm so focused on Space Station Gaming, is who finds themselves getting kicked out and not making it to next week. Did anybody score enough points? Space Station Gaming, 6 kills, a mantle brick, tons of damage. They took matters into their own hands, DK.
Yeah, I mean, they needed to, and they stepped on up. As we can look there and see Space Station, 6 kills in the bag. Nadeshot coming through with 4, Nightmare on 3. I mean, this is literally down to the wire, right? The big question mark is going to be on Liquids and BTH to see if they've been able to do it. Did they secure a spot? If not, MW is going to be super grateful for that. But looking at kills, though, the man, the myth, the legend, he just held it through all the way to the end. And I mean, what a sweaty engagement this was, all the way right up to that final moment.
I think I blew this mic out. Like, I have never yelled so loud in a studio. What an electric finish. See some top assets here that frankly won't matter. Killzall being given the MVP, I think for good reason. 4 kills in that last map. Clutch up the final 1v1. But I have to pass a co-MVP. Frankly, the entire team. Skies also did a fantastic job. But I know Easy was being hard on himself. But if Easy does not get that kill on Farmer Lucas, we are playing another map. 100%. Lucas gets that steal. And unfortunately, nobody gets the brick. And we play one more, because we were out of game clock time. Easy clutched up. SSG clutched up. Space Station Gaming, 2nd place in the group stages, going straight to Championship Sunday next weekend. Hopefully the mic's still working. I don't know if I shattered some lights in here or something, It was a great day, and it was a ton of fun. And it sounds like we got Killzall on the line yet again for another interview. Holy cow, my man, the Beast. You guys did it by the hair on your chinny chin. Talk me through the final moment. What was that like?
I mean, it was crazy. It was crazy. We were kind of sitting there. We were waiting, and we realized there were still 2-3 teams left. And we were going to let them fight a little bit, and we did. And we rolled out, and we got the job done.
Quick follow-up, man. I mean, I know that feels good. I think when we first talked to you, there was kind of this big conversation around going perfect. That obviously didn't happen. What was the conversation like going into today in preparation for securing second place? Because that was certainly within jeopardy with the other teams in the lobby.
Yeah, I just was telling them, I'm like, we got to be perfect. We got to lock in. We didn't want to put it to chance in the points category. We were going for first or second place because with third, it would have tied with them if we had a brick. And when it goes to the squad points, who knows with one round. And we were shooting for first or second, but I'm glad we got there the first. It was a big sigh of relief at the end. Happy to be moving on to next Sunday.
Well, firstly, I have to say a big congratulations to you. You did not only win the day, but you also secured your slot moving into the finals. How satisfying is it for you to win the group stage this way?
It's really satisfying knowing that there's multiple teams in the lobby that were trying to actively hunt us down because they didn't want us into the finals. I'm going to call them out. Of course, Nightmare, of course they wanted in. But also Team Liquid, they did not want us in there, and they wanted to hunt us. And just having people against you, it's annoying. But at the end of the day, look who got first place, and look who didn't.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you were able to battle through the adversity there. I think it's a fair point. It was their win condition. The only way they make it straight there is if you don't. So a fair play from them, but at the same time, they definitely were going only for you all and trying to hunt you down, and you still were able to come out on top. It's an impressive feat, man. I want to very quickly talk about this season already. The group stages has been, yes, ups and downs, but you all have been very dominant. I know last time I asked you, you said that Evil Geniuses are your top competitors, and they find themselves, I think it's 1 point ahead of you going into the finals. But of course, that doesn't matter. You've met them there. Who do you want to see with you in the finals? Is there a team that you want another chance to beat again? Who do you want to make it there and meet you there after the Survivor stages, since you're getting there for free?
I want the teams that shoot EG in the back. So we're going to go with FX. I want a little bit of FaZe in there. A couple Brazilian, South American teams in there. As long as they can shoot them in the back, I'm fine with it.
I love that.
So a little bit of pressure coming in and hopefully going a long way. But so before we get into the finals, right, that last bit of play, is there any part of your game that you think still needs improvement before making it into the finals?
Yeah. I mean, our comms are great, but when it comes down to it, we've been losing fights too recent, and we just can't be losing these fights. They're just simple mistakes. We get third-partied because we also make a mistake, and it's just, at the end of the day, we got to lock in. We got to win these fights. There's no way that we should be losing some of them. These guys are not better than us. And, yeah, I mean, we just got to shoot straight. That's it.
There you go. Hey, you just got to win your ones. You got to win your team fights, man, and then obviously cover your back. But hey, congratulations, Killzall. We love chatting with you, but of course we got to go let you celebrate. I want to give you the floor though, man. Last chance in the group stages. I'm sure I will see you, or I know I'll see you now in the finals, but the floor is yours. Haters, friends, family, teammates, Space Station, who you got?
Yeah, I want to say thanks to all of our Space Stationers, our space soldiers, as they call them. We love every single one of them that support us. I want to thank my family. They've been watching every single game. They love cheering me on to play. And second of all, I want to thank my teammates, man. Can we get a clap for 2 Easy and Skies? Like, good Lord, I can't do it without them. Like, they make the team. And at the end of the day, screw all those other teams that hunted us. enjoy playing on Friday and Saturday, and I hope you lose.
Fair enough, my friend. Good luck out there. Of course, a lot of money on the line next Sunday, and just getting to the final lobby means you're going to secure a decent portion of that. We'll see you out there. Go celebrate Killzall. You earned it.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Cheers. That's Space Station Gaming. Some wise words, some nice accolades, and some words for the haters. And you know what? I respect that. Some healthy trash talk in the space is nice, but Space Station Gaming, they earned it. They earned their spot in the top 2. They had trials and tribulations. They really struggled the last 2 weeks, but they pulled it together today. Double brick in game 6, picking up a solid amount of squad points and some solid kills as well, 20 kills. I can't believe it, but Space Station Gaming were able to pull it out. This time, not kills all in every category. Team Liquid found their way to the top as well. DK, what a day.
What a day indeed, but what a play it was coming through from Boy from Team Liquid, being our match MVP. 11 kills in the bag, 2,600 damage, and almost hitting 9 million in assets. Quite a bit of performance coming through from them. But I think the heat, the hunt coming through from Team Liquid, rightly so. But the important thing is this page right here, looking at who has made it and who unfortunately hasn't. BTH and Liquids, they tried everything they could think of today, but unfortunately the lobby had other intentions in mind, and it's going to be a cut for them right there.
Yeah, this is brutal to see, unfortunately, at the bottom of our group stage leaderboard. 2 teams that have been battling tooth and nail to make it, unfortunately, will not. Here at the top, though, of course, we do see the evil genius to Space Station Gaming, like we mentioned. Here's the overall look. You know, DK, I thought you put it well. Unfortunately, at the bottom, nothing really changed. Nothing really moved. These bottom 3 teams in particular weren't really able to rack up a ton of points. And because of that, they just weren't able to get out of relegation. MW kind of gets a bit lucky there, right? They get 0 points in the last match. And BTH and Liquids had their chances today, but the lobby 2 stacked and some unlucky timings meant they weren't going to be able to get anything out and therefore not get enough points to pass MW. So we're going to see Team Nadeshot and MW unfortunately skip Friday, which means they're going straight to Saturday Survivor stages, which means they only have 1 chance to make it to the grand finals on Sunday rather than the 2 chances that some of these other teams will have. So with that in mind, watch out for Team Nadeshot. Watch out for MW playing a little bit less chances because they're a little bit lower on our overall group stage leaderboard. But everybody else still has a chance to make it. We'll see who the final 6 teams are that make it to Championship Sunday. What a wild group stage. And congratulations to all of our Americas teams. Just getting to the stage is a very difficult feat. So even though you might be one of these 2 teams at the bottom of the leaderboard, you still earn some cash, right? Our prize pool does go all the way down to all 12 teams because they did earn their place here. And so big shout out to these guys, DK.
Yeah, the only thing it means for them is that their opportunity to lock in more of that cash flow ends here, right? That's what it means for them. But also, it gives them a great opportunity to sit and review the teams playing through the survival stage and, of course, going into the finals in preparation for, you guessed it, Season 2. That's going to be coming in. So, I mean, yes, it would have been quite nice for them to make it through, but it also gives them a great opportunity to try and bring in those improvements, right? To try and advance their team even more so going into the next season.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think there's still room to work. And I think some of these teams that maybe got eliminated, BTH and Liquids, they still got their chance in Season 2, right? They can go back through open qualifiers if they're not in the next round. So we'll keep an eye out for those teams and see what they're able to do. But, you know, DK, I do want to spend a moment since we have the time, and this is the last group stage game, last group stage match, and we're done with it, to recap a bit and then look back on the history of what we've seen over the last 4 weeks, because you and I got to experience a lot of it, especially in the Americas region, but you on both sides of the region. So are there any moments that you think back on, or just general things about the Delta Force Rise series group stages that make you smile, or some of your favorite parts of the last 4 weeks?
I would definitely have to say match 4, day 4. That was for me a very, very exciting one in which we saw WKey Forever going from sitting in last place on the board. They just played a phenomenal day, walking away with 48 squad points, the most that we've seen at that point. and just catapulting themselves out of that relegation position. So for me, the power of a team being able to have such strong bounce back ability, I love seeing that.
Yeah, that's actually one of my moments as well, and I think you highlighted it so well. I mean, that's the nature of this format, right? Not even the double brick format, which of course is fantastic because it allows these wild swings and scores and who can come out of nowhere. I mean, remember Team Nadeshot's win too? Like, they were able to double brick in the face of a bunch of other teams that had a lot more points than them, but they just played the objective a bit better. So yeah, it's insane to say, but it's fun to look back on all of these teams, and it's cool that we'll get to see most of them going forward. I do want to take a moment to remind you that we love rewarding you just for being here, so I do want you to type in !giveaway into the chat right now so you have your chance to get your hands on 3,000 Delta tickets. Those winners, by the way, will be drawn on stream, so type in !giveaway if you're watching on all the main social channels that you see down below on our live streams. But if you're watching on X, make sure you repost the live stream, and the winner will be announced in the comments under the live stream here on all of our official channels, Twitch, YouTube, etc. It'll be announced in the chat itself. You'll see that, you'll be contacted, and you'll get your 3,000 Delta tickets. So go ahead and enter. I think some of you have already done that. !giveaway is how you do that in the main streams. But yeah, DK, thinking back again, it's been really cool. And also, you and I also had a chance to watch the open qualifiers too. Like, there was so much Delta for us over the last several weeks now. But walk me through some of these stat lines. I think this is the end, right? So these are the final numbers. Loco well above the rest. Evil Genius is on top, yes, but also individually the top Slayer.
Yeah, I mean, there was quite a bit of work being brought in across the way. We've seen just such an aggressive push coming in across all the rounds that we've had. Loco just being insane, right? That's the reason why his name is Loco, because the performance that he brings to the field, just so crazy. But Killzall, boy, they really worked hard today to try and lock in all those additional points and keep themselves in contention for those top ranking positions. Looking at the damage, it still kind of trickles over into that, but instead of having Boy over here, we have Equal from Nightmare, holding strong, and absolutely impressive performances that we've had. I mean, Killzall really locked in, right? Climbing up a considerable amount of damage, as we've seen, and it just shows you, right, there's a lot of magic and a lot of knowledge coming through from these players once they step onto the field here.
Yeah, no, totally agree. Killzall found his way to the top of the asset category as well. So nice job finding his way here. Just barely above Loco by nearly 4 million. Articuno with Evil Geniuses there as well. Equal plays at top 5 now, moving up to the 4th place position. And still FaZe, Mr. Diogod, finding his way to top 5, even with Mindo creeping up to 6. Farmer Lucas from Nightmare and Mindo at the exact same amount, by the way, 37.8 mil, which is kind of cool. But in general, some fun moments here for all of our players. Top assets, top kills, top damage. It's all fun to look at. But we finally know our match schedule. It's so weird seeing this filled out. It's so cool. We made it through the group stages. We have our 6 teams for Friday next weekend. No more groups. It's all about the teams. Next Friday, same place as usual, same time as usual. You're going to see Nightmare, Team Liquid, Leviathan, WK Forever, FaZe, and Fluxo all in that match with a chance to make it to the finals. If you get first, if you get second, you make it to the finals, and then we go again on Saturday. Team Nadeshot and MW waiting in the wings to play against the final 4 teams that don't make it, and the final 2 from Saturday will make it to the finals, and then we go to Sunday. Championship Sunday is going to be a movie, Mr. DK.
Well, I'm blessed that I can sit back, relax, and have some popcorn at hand, because yeah, I think that is going to be one to watch. Absolute insanity coming through from these teams. But I think a big statement to make here is, of course, speaking to all the teams that have participated, right? All the way back from the open qualifiers, right? It has been such a journey, such a hustle to make it to this point, to get to the final round of the group stage. And I think wherever the teams were able to get themselves, it was very well earned and well deserved, even though we did see 2 teams not necessarily get into that survival stage. I still think that they played a phenomenal bit of games. Meg, Compound Bo, just absolutely unchallenged. That man needs to be checked for something, because the insanity coming through on that end is absolutely insane. But we love it, and we love all the brutalness that Delta Force has been showing coming through from the performances of these players.
Yeah, listen, the Delta Force Rise Series format was a ton of fun. We saw a ton of kills, like you said, that dynamic kill bonus, the incentive these players needed to get active and go for those kills. So, DK, you were marvelous to work with. Thank you so much for casting so many of our games throughout the Delta Force Rise Series group stages leading into the finals. We really appreciate you, and I want to get some W's in the chat for DK. Any final words, DK? You dropped some words of wisdom there, but anything else you want to say before we close things out?
You'll see there's a little link that pops up down here. Right. Now, that link is very, very important. Click on the link, go through, download Delta if you've not done it already, and play some Delta. And if you're good enough, we'll see you in Season 2.
That's right. DK said it best. Season 2 coming up right down the line, folks. August 10th is when that open registration opens for you, and you get a chance to play into Season 2. Folks, that's all we've got for you. Reminder, we couldn't do it without you, the viewer. Tune in next weekend. Championship Sunday, Survivor stages. You're not going to want to miss it. We'll see you then.
Members now the odds are in their favor 2v1. Everything getting spammed away, and MT getting a little. So hang on a second, NL. Look at that! It's an absolute sweep. And LG's got it though. They're here. Lines them up. Even through the shot. You're nuts.